Welcome back to In the Eyes of the Stars. This is a Tier 4 D&D mini-campaign set in my homebrew world of Ilumelan. We are on Session 3, which is pretty cool. So last session, our group of adventurers, which were assembled from the Wyvern Wings Adventuring Guild of Rosewick, continued their perusal of the Wizard Tower. Hired to figure out the location of Tobias Sinclair, who had sent dreams and warnings to his mentee, the librarian Lillian. They ventured north to the wild land of Vitherfold. Hoping to figure out his location, what he had been working on, and some more information of the threats looming, the group found his tower, gained entry through some creative riddle answers, and followed the pattern of dragons upward. Having vanquished a waterfall, a library, an illusionary dragon, a laboratory lay at their grasp, filled with evidence of Tobias's work, with populating this new world with dragons. A clever use of a detect magic revealed a carving of a sleeping dragon under his desk, which when pressed, dropped a staircase for the group to ascend. So we're picking back up here, with Lydia, the goblin asmer, Kieran the human, Miriam the wood elf, and Shelia the half-orc, as you are walking up the stairs. So you come upon a smaller space that's still circular and very wide open. Floor-to-ceiling windows cover most of the walls, continuing to look out into the mountains, into what is now a vibrant sunset. Velvet curtains draped throughout and give the space a very cozy feeling. Two large bookshelves take up the only open space on the wall, next to another large wooden desk with a huge high-backed chair. A small kitchen and dining area is off to the left, a fire crackling in a nearby fireplace. Towards the far end of the room, you see a spiral staircase that continues upward, somewhat obscuring the vision of a bedroom area, a huge four-poster bed with hanging velvet curtains, with a wooden chest and several wardrobes. There seems to be one area walled off to the side, which you would assume to be some sort of bathing chamber. It seems that this is Tobias's living space. The spiral staircase does seem to be elaborately carved out of dark mahogany wood. The railing is a long depiction of a tail ending in the body of a dragon, its head raised in kind of like a noble stance. But it seems you have come to his personal chambers. What would you like to do?
I'm going to test how soft that bed is. Sit on it. I need to know what his standards for himself are.
Does he have a kitchen anywhere?
He does!
I'd like to go look around.
Okay.
I would like to investigate if there is any books around.
Okay. Shelia, do you have area you're kind of heading off to in the split?
Nope, I'll wander aimlessly.
Okay, sounds good. So the group walking into this area, like, just splits off. Miriam, you immediately go over towards the bedroom area. There's plush carpet under your feet, and, like, it is beautiful. It seems that he put a little bit of work to make this area cozy, and you flop onto his bed. It is comfy. It is very comfy. He has very high standards. There's, like, a mixture of, like, really nice pillows, too. So some are fluffy, some are firm. So, comfy bed. Kieran, you wander into the kitchen. It is pretty appointed with a lot of different stuff in it, but a lot of them haven't been touched in a while, you would note. So you're not sure if that's because he's been traveling, or he's just been gone for a bit, or what the deal is, but yeah.
Okay.
So Lydia, you said you were looking for books?
Yes.
Okay, so looking for books, you kind of wander over towards where you see the kind of like office areas, and there are definitely some books over there. So there's a bookshelf that seems to be filled with published, like, typically published books. As well as all across the desk, you see, like, multiple journals that litter the area, as well as ample storage for, like, magical inks and papers that you recognize from your time with Lillian that only wizards typically have. Several of the books, as you kind of look around and peruse, seem to be like what he was studying. Others seem to be some of his published works. And as you crack open one of his published works, you see that they are littered with annotations and markings, as though he continues to update his research and improve his findings even after publishing them. As you're kind of looking around, there's 2 journals on his desk that seem to be like unpublished, that are definitely like his scribblings and findings as he goes. So one of them is kind of like a bronze-colored leather. That one's very worn from a lot of use. That is titled Felgolus. And the other one is a swirling of deep blues across the cover, and it's titled Essence Pearls, Beyond the Enchanting.
Okay. Would I be able to tell if there's any books that what's the latest book that he worked on?
It seems that those 2... I'll let you make an investigation check to give you a little bit more details.
Yes, ma'am.
First roll of the night.
That is a 28.
Nice.
Okay. You have DM mode turned on, because I cannot see it in the player chat, but that's okay. So
That's
if you...
because I was... Give me a second.
No, you're good. Take your time to switch that back over. So as you're looking, it looks like these 2 journals were the last ones that he touched, as they're kind of laying on top, and probably the most recent one he wrote in was the I would say it's the Essence Pearls one. So, and then there seems to be a pile of books next to it, and several of them, it looks like he's maybe referenced recently, but not super recently.
Gotcha. Well, then I'll peruse the blue one with the blue book with the Essence Pearls.
Okay. So, I will give you a moment to read that while we see what the rest of our crew is doing.
Yes, ma'am.
So, well, Lydia has wandered over to the desk and is just straight up reading this man's books. And the rest of you are kind of wandering around and poking through his things. Some things that I would say, for those who are kind of poking through his things actively, if you want to make an insight check to see if you can garner a little bit more information about him, or if there's a different angle that you want to kind of argue and you're poking around.
I'm always down for extra poking.
Okay.
You said insight?
Yeah. If you want to try to gather information about him and his character.
Alright, that is a 22.
Okay. So with the 22, Kieran, especially since you kind of were remaining around the kitchen area, I'll say that you eventually did wander and pulled some information from the living area. It seems that he spent a lot of time up here, but not a ton of time. It also seems to be rather clean, he valued things being put together. You assume that he had maybe an invisible servant or 2 that kind of has kept things clean and cozy. It looks like something has done a lot of cooking. There's a lot of wear and tear on his cooking stuff. It looks like the pantry's pretty well stocked with non-perishables, but anything that would have perished is taken care of and gone, especially since he's not gone. And it looks like all of this furniture, all of the hangings are all really nice quality. So it's not luxurious per se, but just very comfortable. So, which I'll let you assume what you get about that in terms of about who he is as a person.
Mm-hmm. Go be.
So, well, Lydia's reading the book. Is there anything in specific that you guys want to be doing? Are you looking for specific things, or are people just generally poking around more? And where are you poking?
I am looking through his closets and under the bed and stuff.
Okay. So go ahead and make me an investigation check.
I'm great at these, boys.
Oh yeah.
That's actually not bad.
Beautiful.
Okay, so with the 14, you poke under the bed. There's no dust bunnies under there. There's nothing under there, actually. It is relatively clean down there. You poke through the closet, you see multiple robes of various different colors and, like, thickness, and they're all pretty nice quality.
Is there anybody within eyesight of me?
I don't know. I assume Lydia's kind of reading the book, and the bedchamber's a little bit blocked off from the staircase, so she probably can't see you. It would be up to Kieran if he was paying attention, because he is in the kitchen and probably within eyesight, and I guess it would be up to Shelia and where she's wandering around there.
I mean, I always keep an eye on Miriam, but I don't necessarily always do stuff. So
Yeah, Miriam's gonna try on a few of his robes just for funsies.
All right.
I will not stop you.
Does he have a mirror in his room?
Oh yeah, he has like a really nice carved full-length mirror, like easel, propped up kind of by the wardrobe.
She's voguing.
Okay, I love this. All right, we watch that scene happen. They're beautiful robes. They're like pretty nice. None of them scream magic to you. It seems that they're just like his comfy wear. You also like see hanging on a hook near the kind of bathing chamber, like a super plush, very nice robe. And then like on a hook next to it, you see a more like flamboyant robe made out of like a whole bunch of different velvet. Are you trying to steal the robe?
Not really plush one, yeah, I am.
Okay, I will let the players check their passive perceptions to see if they notice this with a 16. So a 16 or higher.
I just hit 16.
Okay, so you 110% clock her stealing this robe.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, cool. So,
Bottle.
I'm sorry, what?
It's going into my bottle.
Perfect. Okay, so Lydia, as you are reading this book on essence pearls, the intro is pretty unwieldy. I will show this to you so that you can, if you want to kind of like read along here, but I will kind of read and summarize things for you as well. So as you're kind of reading this book, the intro is very typical of his writing that you've kind of picked up. It looks like as he was writing this journal, he's writing in his academic tone, and he's kind of like picked it up so that his first draft is pretty good. So it says, the shifting god of the oceans and tides, Marino, has blessed the land of Ilumelan with motes of their magic. Over the last couple hundred years, much has been discovered about these motes of raw weave, mainly used to speed up the enchanting process. However, the study outlines an additional discovered use as a magic item themselves. It seems that a person possessing a certain level of power has the ability to use the essence pearl by itself, drawing on the remnants of Marino's magic. Researching this study breaks down the uses beyond enchanting. And so as you're kind of reading, in fanciful wizard terms, it outlines this magic item, and it outlines these facts. So, they come in different tiers that do not manifest until picked up by a being that resonates with a certain level of power. If left alone, the power returns to the weave until activated by someone else, but can be a different tier depending on the resonation. So, and pretty much what happens is when someone above level 10 in terms of mechanics picks up this item, they roll a d100 and consult the chart to see what tier it is. When used in this normal way, there's always a chance that the essence pearl malfunctions and backfires, as the magic is tumultuous. The chance is low when drawing from one main essence pearl, but it seems to increase summatively by the amount of charges pulled from an additional pearl. So, in mechanic terms, it's saying if you roll less than a 10 on a D100, it will malfunction, and every additional charge from like a different pearl will increase that by 10. So for example, if 3 charges were pulled from a secondary pearl, to combine, the probability increases to about 40%. When malfunctioning, it's a d6 of force damage and a d4 of psychic damage per charge expended. So if it malfunctions when you're trying to do something higher, it hurts you more. So each tier of pearl, so it now goes on to tell you what the pearl does. It has a different number of charges as outlined in the chart. Each charge can be broken off of the essence pearl and used to cast any spell from any spell list, expending the amount of charges per level using the casting rules of the spell. So if it's a bonus action spell or reaction spell, it just uses that. Spell cast this way requires no material spell components. Additionally, a charge can be broken off as a reaction to shift the weave, allowing the user to grant advantage or disadvantage on any creature it sees. This can be used after knowing the roll, but before knowing whether it was a success or failure. Once used, that portion of the essence pearl is broken off and consumed completely. So, charges can also be used for other magical miracles limited to the imagination of the hero. So, and then it kind of like outlines all of so you do see the chart in there as well, and it outlines like all of the different things. So it seems like the basic tier 1 like can cast a level 3 spell or lower, or have 3 chances to grant advantage. And then once it's used, it's consumed. So it's like this pretty powerful magic item that's can be used by somebody who's level 10 or higher.
Gotcha.
And you, I think, did a little bit of, you gathered some information last time and had known that essence pearls were typically used in enchanting to speed up the enchanting process because they had that magical energy, which this wizard is calling the weave. So,
okay.
That's what you get from that journal. And it is in your journals in case you want to gather more information and more lore. And it seems like a pretty interesting magic item. You've never heard of something like this that is so up to the person using it. So it's very like... It depends on the creativity of the person using it.
Note to self, do not let Miriam close to these pearls.
I was gonna say, by the way, do you share with the class?
I guess I'll share it with Shelia, since she's not close to Miriam right now.
Okay.
I'm hurt.
What were you gonna say, Sheila?
Nothing. I'll just listen.
Okie doke.
Do I get a sense that that he was looking specifically for this? That Tobias was looking specifically for this in his search for the giants?
You're not sure. This journal specifically, it reads like he had possessed and experimented with these essence pearls and like had gathered a ton of information about it. And had compiled the information. So he was the one who's done all of this research. So no one else knows of or like how to use essence pearls in this way.
Gotcha. Does he indicate how one would go about to find these pearls?
Not necessarily. You would know just like based on your roll from last time, and also like essence pearls are a pretty well-known item, that they're typically found in the ocean or after storms or along those lines, but they straight up are like little pearls of energy that are hard to find because they don't look like much until somebody touches them. And so they are, it's actually like why two of the countries down south are like about to go to war, is because they are fighting over these essence pearls. And so now you know of a different way to use these essence pearls beyond just enchanting and as magical items, or like can actually use them as magical items.
Gotcha. Alright, well, Lydia will keep an eye for essence pearls on her journeys.
Okay. If you want to poke around more, actually, I'll give both you and Shelia, as you're kind of looking around that area, if you want to make a perception check or investigation, depending on how you're looking, and that will give you a little bit more information. Or different information. So both of you, if you want.
28.
Okay. So a 17 and a 28. So, Shelia, with a 17, you kind of have been perusing a lot of the bookshelves. You do see like a whole bunch of wizard paper and ink. Probably the equivalent of, I would say, like $2,000 worth of gold of those items. And just as like Lydia's reading about this, she looks down and you notice a large iron box underneath the desk. And I think Shelia actually was the one who had kind of like investigated the enchanting area downstairs and noticed that it seemed like something box-like had been picked up and moved. And you would recognize immediately that this matches the dimensions of that. So,
well, clearly we need this to open. Shelia, would you mind opening it?
Yeah, I can open it. Is it just locked?
go ahead and make an Arcana check. Or, yeah.
50.
Okay, so with that, it's pretty easy to see that, yeah, it is magically locked.
Okay, I'll tap it twice with my staff and cast knock.
Okay, so with that, it is suppressed, and do you still have to pick it, or can it just open? I'm pretty sure.
It just opens.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, I totally forgot. It's been 2 weeks since I've read Knock. So yeah, it just opens, and you see several little balls of light in there.
It's just pure light.
Yep.
Ooh, that's really bright. Let's close that.
And
I'll close the lid.
As you're like opening it, it's like pure light in your face, and it smells like sea mist, and you hear just like the crackle of thunder kind of in the back of your head.
Can I touch it?
Sure, you reach out and touch one.
Yes.
Okay, so as you touch one, go ahead and roll me a D100. Ooh.
26.
Okay, so you touch one and you pull it out, and you're holding, as you like grab it, it seems to form into this orb shape that swirls with energy. It looks like a glass, the equivalent of like a glass ball that has like a whole bunch of things swirling inside of it. Light, you see like little crackles of thunder and lightning throughout it. You see like the splash of sea waves, as well as like, for a moment, starscape across it. It is difficult to look at, and it seems to contain like a lot of energy, and you're holding it, and as you are, it's pretty easy for you to tell that you have something that's not super powerful but has a lot of potential, and so you are holding a tier 1 essence pearl.
Oh, I think I just read about these, Lydia.
Yes. I'm sure you did.
Here, do you want these since you read about them for real?
Sure. I'll put them directly in a pouch.
So you're not touching them at all?
Well, no.
Okay.
How big
Lydia
is-
has no reason to use these pearls right now, so she'll just put them in a pouch.
Okay.
How big is the iron box?
The iron box is pretty large. It's like a baby safe, think.
Mm-hmm.
So. But the pearl itself, one Shelia was holding it, is like, it fits right in the center of your palm. It's pretty small.
I will.
Palm or one of Lydia's palm.
Sheila's, especially since Sheila's like taller.
I will, once making sure Miriam isn't gonna do anything too crazy and then join, I'll look over to those two and say, "Oh, you find anything interesting?"
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you find?
It's a secret.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's best not to get Miriam in on this. The amount of chaos she could cause would probably devastate the world.
You just hear from, like, over in the direction of the wardrobes. You know, I can use my chaos for good in situations. One of these days you're gonna regret speaking about me that way.
I'll take my
Alright.
chances.
Well, do I have to guess what the secret is?
You literally have 0 chance to guess what it is, so.
What do I see when I look over there? I am gonna try to guess.
You see Lydia holding a book, and
Me dumping pearls into a bag.
yeah, it's like Sheila. No, it doesn't even look like pearls. It looks like light, just like straight up light, like pouring light into a bag.
Hold on, I need to roll something.
I don't think you've ever seen essence pearls. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Kieran currently at the moment is like, did they like bottle light or like dragon light? Is that a thing dragons can do?
That's a very stupid guess.
Thanks. Well, you care to enlighten me?
Is that a pun? I don't like puns.
What you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna do this, and she grabs the pouch, puts it in her bag, and just walks away.
Oh,
Well, you kind of
Huh?
were asking for that one, Kieran. I'll follow Lydia.
I'll follow as well. Fair enough, fair enough. Miriam, I think we're heading out. And they're keeping secret.
Well, that's not very nice, but alright. And, well, I'm sure that nobody can see me. I'm also, getting one of the other robes.
perfect.
I'll follow.
Easy enough. Lydia, did you leave the other journal there?
No, she would have picked both of them.
Okay, sounds good. Just making sure. Okay, where are you stomping off to be alone and everybody's following you?
I guess she'll do what every reader wants to do when they really want to read a book and just go to the bathroom.
So she takes her 2 books and stomps away and walks towards the bathing chamber, and like all of you are following her, and then she just slams the door in your face.
Might have actually pissed her off. Whoops.
Well, you have that effect on people.
It's
Do I?
easy to do, honestly.
I piss people off? He kind of like looks down like, damn, I gotta really question my life choices right
In
now.
my short experience with you, yes.
Sorry I pissed you off.
It'll be alright. Anyways, what are we gonna do?
I mean, what have we not kind of like investigated or looked at around here?
I mean, also, did any of those books that, Lydia take give any inclination of where he might have gone?
She only shared one with me, and that one, no. and I think probably Lydia's reading the other one, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, and didn't share with the class, so.
Seems about right.
It's just like that sometimes. What else is there? Can I go look at what else is around? To go look at. Can I go up maybe that spiral staircase?
Yeah, you can go up the spiral staircase if you want. So you guys have perused the whole area. It seems that this is like his living chambers. There's like plush couches around the fireplace and remnants of a chessboard with a game half done. And like, there's like a whole bunch of just like living things in this area. But nothing super exciting other than wizard journals, which Lydia has sequestered. So, you guys, you are heading up the stairs?
I am at least.
Yeah, I will follow, but only after hiding one of the pawns of that chess game.
Okay.
I'll draw a spiral staircase and 3 figures and an arrow pointing up and slide it under the bathroom door and then go.
Okay. And for the sake of this, Lydia, we'll pop back over to you in like a couple moments, but I did share the information with you, and so feel free to read as the group is perusing up the spiral staircase. So,
Will do.
You guys, are you all going up the spiral staircase?
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. So you walk up, it's beautifully carved mahogany, and it gives way to an open area. The walls are depicting the night sky filled with celestial bodies. The space is dark and cozy, and the ceiling's covered with what you recognize to be the same, like, starscape as what would be above you this evening. And there's no light filtering in from the outside into this room. So those with dark vision pick up on a drawing desk off to one side and a sunken pit in the center of the room. Cushions and blankets fill the space, making a cozy bed for what you see is a small cat-like looking creature with 2 wings tucked around it as it lays sleeping on in a small ball. It is completely white with silver hues, and it stands out against the dark room, almost giving off a little bit of a luminescence. And it seems that you have found the observatory, and there is something sleeping in there.
I'm gonna piss. I'm crouching down.
Okay.
Do we know what this creature is at all?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you would know exactly what the creature is, but you've seen a similar creature with Lillian, actually. So her familiar is one of these creatures as well. But you can make a history check if you want to see if you recognize, like, what they are.
DM, I don't have dark vision, so I can't
You have
see
no
it.
clue. You see nothing, and then there's just, like, a little bit of a glowing ball kind of in the center of the room.
I will walk towards that, but I'll let you do stuff with Shelia first.
So, Shelia, you would know that these creatures are tressyms. They aren't native to this world, and people there's not very many, like, they're a very rare breed naturally, and a lot of people who own tressums more own them as familiars. They're extremely intelligent creatures, and they're essentially like flying cats. So, and this one you would also know, just like based to that, typically natural cat creatures don't glow, so this one's very evidently a familiar. So, especially knowing, like, what you do about Lillian's familiar. And so, Miriam, as you crouch down and pss at the cat, if you want to go ahead and make an animal handling check.
Absolutely, and I will also, like, reach into my bag and pull out a bit of dried meat. $17, boys!
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So, with a 17, you notice this cat's head, like, immediately perk up and, like, look in your direction, especially since, there's beings that just walked into the room and disturbed its nap. It blinks sleepily at you, not really perturbed by the intrusion, but then cocks its head at the noise, and with the presentation of the meat, begins to creep forward towards you. And you kind of get the sense, especially being around so long, you get she vibes off of the cat, that it's a female, just like the way it moves and everything. And she kind of like sniffs at the meat and then like takes a bite of it. You would know that familiars don't have to eat, but they still enjoy it like most animals would.
Well, hello there, sweetheart. Aren't you just the most adorable thing in all the realms?
She's beautiful. She has a very pretty white, like silvery coat, and her wings, as she kind of like flutters them and like tucks them behind her, seem to be like the fur blends into feathers, and it looks almost like dove feathers. So she's absolutely gorgeous.
I'm going to attempt to give her ear scritches, if she will let.
It takes a moment. It like takes her kind of like sniffing your hand, and like she's a little wary of you, but your calming presence and the addition of the little treat and your voice manages to like calm her enough that she's distracted enough so that you can give her ear scritches.
Fantastic. Kieran, she's flowing, so I think you can tell, but, this here is an adorable little cat, and, there's also a drawing desk over there, and a sunken-in pit in the middle of the room, so walk carefully lest you twist your ankle.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming I'm, like a good, like, foot from, like, stepping into the sunken pit area, just like,
Yep, absolutely. Kieran was wandering around, and like as you're saying this, almost steps in. You could light a torch, Kieran. You could.
I genuinely don't think I have.
Why? You don't have dark vision.
I also don't have any cantrip that allows me to see.
Oh my gosh.
I have my priorities. I technically don't have torches, but can I light a torch?
I can pass some lights out from my staff. I'll put a light up.
Okay, cool.
Are there around? Like, are torches on the walls or candles?
It doesn't seem that there's any torches per se. It looks like there's some sconces that would probably hold some sort of magic light. And so as Sheila's putting some light out, some of them gravitate towards it and like kind of pull and hold the light. And Sheila, as they do so, you notice that it's not drawing on your power anymore. So it seems that as soon as some sort of magical light is cast in this room, that these weird magical torches like hold the light for you, which is interesting. So, but the room is now lit, and Kieran, you now see what the rest of the group has seen. But it seems that you are in the observatory of this tower.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciated. And now that I can see, I do want to, look around.
Okay. So, you see what was described, but if you want to poke around, it seems that there's, like, some small, short bookcases over by the drawing desk, as well as papers and, journals and books on it as well.
Mm-hmm. I would love to go look at the drawing desk.
Okay, and so actually, as you look on the drawing desk, you see, like, everything's pretty neatly arranged, and on the top, as if, like, it was like, please look at this, you know, like, on the top of someone's desk, there's a journal and a small note on top. And the note reads as follows. One moment. Here, are you gonna read it out loud, Kieran?
I think you should.
Okay.
But I will be reading it out loud.
Okay, so in Kieran's voice, the note reads as follows. If anything goes wrong, I have a contingency for a dream to be sent to my mentee and the only person I fully trust. Even if Lillian cannot come herself, she knows the nature of my work and the importance of the task I take on. If you are reading this, then something went extremely wrong and I am incapacitated or possibly dead. Astra will be resummoned here via the familiar summoning circle and she will remain after my death. Please take her with you and protect her with your life, as if she dies, she will be summoned back here again. She holds the map to the place I seek, and now the place you seek. The importance of Ilumelan is at stake, especially with the rising giant threat. The journal below contains my findings, thoughts, and solutions. Follow the stars.
I will, when I say Astra, does the, tressym, like, perk up at all? Cool.
Yeah, it's like... you've seen Ryu, where he's, like, not acknowledging you, but her ears, like, swivel back.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it seems that this very beautiful lady has more knowledge than I expected. And I will Miriam's just, like, lavish cat with love at this point.
Yeah, I would say that she's warmed up to you, especially with your 17 animal handling. And she hasn't done the full, like, cat flop in accepting scritches, but she's starting to, like, rub against you and, like, accept the head scratches and so on and so forth.
Astra, my darling, if there is any way, could you show us this map that your dear owner refers to?
Make an insight check for me. A cat insight check.
Reverie, so proud.
21! I know my cat! God damn it!
She's looking at you, and her eyes are so intelligent. You can tell that she, like, fully understands, Common. You would probably assume that she understands several other languages fully, despite not being able to speak it, because she is the familiar of a wizard. It seems that she cocks her head to the side a little bit, and her eyes sparkle, and it seems that you're close, but you don't have the right phrase.
I'm gonna say, follow the stars?
She turns and kind of like her eyes flash again. And then she kind of like walks over to you, Kieran, and jumps up on the writing desk. Her wings flap like twice to give her a little bit more room. And she straight up puts a paw on the journal and shoves it towards you.
I will open the journal.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. So
I will give her a little thank you, dear.
she does, like, if you reach out at all, she does the cat dodge thing. She doesn't trust you yet.
Oh, I just said thank you.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
gonna touch a cat that doesn't know me.
And she kind of, like, jumps back down and, like, walks slowly towards Miriam and then, like, doesn't want to seem like she's too excited. And so she walks back into the pit of pillows and kind of lays down and puts her paws out and props her head on it, like, listening. So,
All right.
Are you reading this out loud as well?
Yes.
Okay, so essentially, summatively, the journal outlines in depth his solution of raising adult dragons to counter the giant threat, the success of Felgolas, and the success that Felgolas is in this endeavor. However, with all his successes in creating an adult dragon, he speculates that he needs a more powerful essence pearl, a non-random legendary one created specifically with that power level, which he refers to as the essence crystal, in order to remove the constant need for consumption of essence pearl for Felgolas, thus making him a real independent dragon. Using divination, which he vaguely refers to and doesn't outline, he records many nights of divining, communing with the gods, and research that leads him to a speculation that what he needed would manifest and appear from the weave on the world in roughly a year. He references feelings and dreams, which he assumed came from Atola, the dragon goddess of war and art. And there's a little bit like more about why he assumes that, but mainly because it outlines following her constellation specifically, and they form an arch in the specific order, which you guys would recognize because you've been following it this whole time. The roaring, flying, fighting, sleeping, and noble dragons. Several months of research and speculation, all dated and meticulously kept in this journal, showed that they would be in order and forge a path further north along the mountains and deep into the frost giant territory on the reverberant sheet. The journal outlines his preparations, imprinting Astra's eyes to project a constant copy of the 5 constellations at the proper time and place so that he could easier follow and help those behind him follow if needed after the constellation is moved. His instructions say to simply ask her to see the stars in her eyes. And he said that he would follow the constellations live, as it's easier to travel along the path they outline through the village of Hearts to gather a group of guides that would take him through the northern fields to the reverberant sheet. He mentions taking Felgolas with him, allowing him to test his mettle and protect the weaker wizard. He speculates the journey would take him roughly a month, give or take a week, depending on the weather. Continuing to speculate further, he thinks that beings are drawn to the power and will gather around the essence crystal once it manifests from the weave, so he's racing against time to be there before something greater finds it.
Alrighty. Well, I think we should, go grab Lydia and show her what we found.
We don't want to check out this map first?
I mean, we could ask her.
Yes, my dear. May we see the stars in your eyes?
If a cat could grin, she would. It's very smug. And she opens her eyes, she closes and then reopens her eyes, and the whole room erupts in this beautiful starscape around you. The lights are all extinguished in this power, and it is an active, moving constellation, and you see each of the constellations light up in this arch, and it is beautiful and surrounds you, and you are part of it. And then it zooms in and kind of like showed you the whole thing, and then it kind of like zooms in and you see a part over by the first dragon, the roaring dragon, that kind of like lights up, and you see out of it grow a wizard tower with the same kind of top. And so it's like a "you are here" button.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And then she closes her eyes and it disappears, and the lights click back on, and then she opens her eyes again and they're the same, like, kind of silvery bright blue.
Alright. Well, Miriam, the cat likes you the best. So, do you want to keep a handle on her? Please do not feed her your special brownies.
I will not. Chocolate is not good for cats.
Thank you.
I may be an agent of chaos, however, I am not a fool.
I don't think you are.
Astra, my dear, if you would like to ride upon my back, upon my backpack, or on one of my arms, or just curl around my neck, you are more than welcome. If you would prefer to walk beside me, that is quite all right. We will be searching for your master.
She kind of gets up at this point and pats over towards you, and with a couple flaps of her wings, she takes off, gains several feet, and kind of circles around your head for a moment before settling on the back of your backpack. All right, and I think with you guys walking down the stairs, we're going to bop back over to Lydia, who has hidden herself in the bathroom to read a book. Lydia, the kind of bathing chamber is beautiful. It seems to be magically enchanted that the like gigantic bath in the corner would fill up and keep warm for a really long time. It's super pretty and very nice. Not like super luxurious, but like good taste. This man has good taste, which I'm sure you appreciate especially.
Indeed.
So as you sit down, probably at the edge of the bath, you crack open this book titled Felgolus, and there's a pretty unwieldy intro that talks a little bit about it, and only a way a wizard could, tells you a little bit more about what is all going on. So, here. Oh, nope, not what I wanted to do. There we go. I will read it for the group so that it can be auditory. Okay. Oh man, it didn't pop up the way I wanted it to. Here, hold on. There it is. So, the intro reads, in the colonization of Ilumelan, it was discovered that the thriving natural giant population remained from the worlds before, despite the withdrawal of their gods. With the rising colonization infringing on their territory and the disappearance of their gods, their terrorization and attempt to wipe out the new colonists is inevitable, especially since this world lacks their natural enemy, the dragons, to keep them in check. For more information on the subject of From Past Worlds, please read Of Giants and Dragons, a study of the natural repeating order throughout the worlds. To counter the rising threat in Ilumelan, the obvious solution is increasing the natural dragon population. However, with how young the world is, there will be no adult dragons for several centuries, let alone ancient dragons to counter. Footnote, rumors of ancient dragons on Ilumelan are inconsequential, as any such ancient dragons traveling from the astral sea to settle themselves here will have other motivations than to hunt giants. Because of this, this study is a record of the creation of a dragon, with the wisdom of years and the power to counter the giant threat, Felgolus. And it goes on to outline how Tobias found and communed with a powerful being in its own demi-plane. Trapped there by ancient means and wanting to escape, Felgolus was willing to give up a fraction of his power to be tethered to the body of a bronze dragon, using several powerful essence pearls, consuming much of the primordial's being's magic. If you kind of look into the ritual a little bit more, because this is like, you have plenty of time to read, so I'm not going to make you roll for this, and I already put it in here. But if you read a little bit more about the ritual, it seems to require a being that has its own plane and draws power from it, willingness to come to the material plane. So it has to be a willing agent in this. A tier 7 essence pearl that uses a conduit as a wish spell, as well as several other essence pearls totaling up to 20 additional charges. Dragon egg, a place connected to the weave. And so he very specifically, as it kind of talks about in here, built this tower as on one of the like ley lines, so it has a natural connection to the weave energy. It consumes much of the being's magic, and there's a footnote in here that Felgolus seems to have retained a fraction of his power that gives him some abilities beyond the typical bronze, sorry, this is supposed to be bronze, not brass, dragon, and it further studied there's more information on it in later chapters. It also mentions that Felgolus was rather weak when it comes to primordial beings, like the equivalent of a lesser archfey, and so Tobias conceptualized that a more powerful being will either create an older dragon sooner or retain more of its power, where a lesser being could possibly even be consumed fully by the ritual. After that information, it kind of outlines the instant creation of an adult dragon, and Tobias guessed that Felgolus was the equivalent of about 80 years old. He merged with the dragon soul, gained its instincts, and it kind of like talks a little bit about the typical instincts of a bronze dragon and what it can do there. It also, further investigation into Felgolus's power reveals that Tobias named this thing called a luck aura, and it witnesses that those around Felgolus seem to have more extreme luck, better chances of extreme successes or extreme failures. It also talks about how he is plagued naturally with amazing or horrible luck, outlining several scenarios. He also conceptualizes that this is the remnants of the primordial's power, as Felgolus seemed to be a primordial being of luck. It also continues to describe how his dragon heart functions as the core of his magical essence, and that if he uses a lot of power or energy or pushes his body to the point of exhaustion, that he would go into hibernation until more essence pearls fused with his core, describing the process of smashing roughly 4 to 8 charges into his chest.
just casually.
Yeah, you know, just smashing essence pearls in there.
Yeah, just light toilet reading. You know how it is.
Yeah, totally like toilet reading and not something like extremely experimental and new to this world.
Well, after she's done with both reading her book and doing her business, she's gonna go wash her hands and flush.
Thank you for the clarification. You walk to the door and see the note slid under of a very poorly drawn spiral staircase and an arrow.
Yeah, Lydia doesn't want Tobias to return and find 2 floating turds in his toilet. So, yeah, she's gonna go upstairs and rejoin the group and talk to them about how Tobias hocus pocused himself a dragon.
Okay. Are you sharing, like, all of the information?
Yes, sir. Yes, except anything related to the essence pearls.
Okay. So just that he hocus pocused himself a dragon somehow out of this primordial being. Okay.
I'll also, once she finishes talking about it, I'll kind of like briefly give the information and talk about Astra, the tressym, and that she's our map, for lack of a better term.
I see.
Indeed.
How far away is Tobias? Can you tell us?
My dear, if you wouldn't mind, could you do your wonderful little trick and may we see the stars in your eyes again to try and see how far away your master may have traveled?
She does this, and this time as she does it, she overlays, you get the sense that Astra can actually control this. So it's not just like showing you the stars. This time she pulls up through this illusion magic, the topographical, is that the word? Yeah, it is now.
Graphical.
Yep, map of the world, and kind of like zooms in a little bit on the area where you guys are. Oh no. And so you guys are at the moment kind of like you've traveled all the way over to here and you're kind of right here in this area. And so she shows him traveling over to here to the Village of Hearths and then going north through these woods here in the northern plains and then stopping here on the glacier. And then looping back around to, like, back here area.
Totally not gonna draw a little. Yeah.
Do we know how... No, okay. Never mind. Do we know anything about the Village of Hearth?
Go ahead and make me a history check. Shelia would actually know quite a bit. So, free information for Shelia. You don't... I said it was free! You don't have to make a history check. Well, the DC's way low for you, okay? So, you know. So, if the other people... Cool. 21. Miriam, are you just gonna chill in your ignorance, or do you want to try to roll too?
I'll give a crack at it, yeah, just to show up Lydia. Fuck Lydia.
I love the rivalry that's happening here.
Them's are fighting words.
So,
Words.
I actually think that Kieran and Miriam have been to the Village of Hearths before, but it's been years. It's been many, many years since you were there. And it was kind of like a stopping point before you guys went on the quest that changed Kieran's life. And it was the home of the clan, the Hearth clan, essentially. It was their home, and where they went, it seemed that other clans would travel in and out and kind of was like a safe haven for a lot of them, but none of them really stayed there in that area. Lydia, you've read books about the Village of Hearts and kind of have that same information, that it's run by the Hearth clan and that other clans come in and out. Shelia, you know, especially roaming around here in the area and your connection and your previous home with a clan, would know that as of late, with things getting more dangerous, that the Hearth clan the Village of Hearts has actually become a full-on, like, almost city. So multiple clans, because of how dangerous it is, have been banding together and actually setting down a hearth in the area, a home, in that area, and like building up walls and building up like a city so that they can protect themselves against giants.
Okay, and it's safe for outsiders?
Sometimes. They're like if you listen to their rules, if you go in and are antagonistic, then they might have a problem with it. It's the typical clan rules, you know?
Well, we could go to Hearth, but they don't like me there very much. Or we could just try and cut everything off and go straight north.
I'd be okay with going straight north, but do we have a way to cross the ocean?
We can swim.
May I ask why?
I'm against that plan.
Say that one more time, Miriam.
May I ask why the Village of Hearth does not like you, Shelia?
Because they have too many laws that don't fly with me.
Ah.
I mean, that's fair, but I do think it would behoove us to see what's going on there. They might know a bit more about what happened to Tobias, as they were, well... And you see Miriam, like, she's gonna, like, look at her map. There's not really any, civilization here, or I can't imagine on the glacier. So they're probably the last people who actually saw him alive. Or
Are they half-orcs?
The village, the Hearth clan specifically is kind of a little bit of everything. Your clan was the only one that was, like, only half-orcs. And they didn't really accept outsiders. This clan is a lot more welcoming and has, like, multiple different races in it and gets along well as long as they follow the rules of peace. Now, granted, they still do the typical clan, like, fighting and sparring and are warriors, but, like, yeah. That's kind of the vibe you get. You've interacted with them maybe twice.
Well, I guess since Lydia doesn't want to swim, we're going to Hearth.
I mean, how is going to Hearth gonna help us? It's not a port city, so it won't really help us with the boat.
Well, look, I'm on Team Lydia, but you just heard Miriam say that maybe they saw Tobias, so...
And they might know more of what was happening to him at the moment. Who knows? They might be able to...
I suspect he's after essence crystals somewhere in the glacier, and that's why he went there.
Essence
based on
crystals?
all the knowledge that we have.
So Kieran did read out the information on essence crystals, but you wouldn't necessarily know their connection, Miriam, because you didn't hear any of that information.
Yeah. I mean, we know that essence pearls exist, because we saw them earlier. But we don't know additional. We don't know additional. No, we do, because there was a note about them earlier. We just don't know much besides, like, that
cool.
they... Yeah,
Gotcha.
they exist,
Yeah, it's
they're
probably all
powerful.
theoretical jumbo.
Yeah. We didn't know about the theoretical mumbo-jumbo, so...
And actually, as you're talking about this, and Astra's kind of, like, zooming in on the path that Tobias took, you see her kind of, like, glare at Lydia, and then look back at the map, and her little path lights up again, and then there's, like, a little dot that blinks, kind of about, like, a week up the trail, almost to the Village of Hearts.
Interesting.
I guess we're stopping there first.
Alright.
Miriam, you cut out if you said something.
I do believe the cat is telling us to go. So.
Oh, you want to listen to a cat?
Technically, it's a tressym, and it might be the smartest thing in this room, so...
Indeed, and she was also his familiar, so she would be most familiarly acquainted with what his work was.
Well, let's test that theory. Tressym, let's see how smart you are. How much is 3 hairballs plus 4 hairballs?
She kind of just looks at you and gives you like a glare and then taps 7 times.
Huh. Okay, maybe you guys have a point. I'm still not clear as to why we're going to Hearth in the first place. Is it because there's a means of travel to go up north? Astra?
She rolls her eyes and then kind of nods at you.
Is there like a mountain pass there that I know of or something?
So, the way it works is there's not a mountain pass, but the Village of Hearts is kind of set up in the mountains as they're coming down, and they melt into this forest and these plains. You know of people who have, for lack of better terms, dog sleds that go through the plains and the forests up there, and then, go ahead and roll me a history check.
18.
Okay. Several of the different clans also run boats around like the oceans and the rivers up there, and have like a thriving fishing civilization and trade, as well as you would know of on the Reverberant Sheet, which is kind of this top glacier area up here. You would know that the point that Astra highlighted down here is something called pause. What's the name? I have it down here. Is something called En's Rune. It's a giant tower that was abandoned that a lot of people had kind of taken over. So adventurers would go way up there north to En's Rune and kind of use it as a landing point occasionally to do further ventures out into the glacier for hunting, for power, for magical items, to say that they did, as well as occasionally as stopping points for trade going along this river, which is extremely dangerous.
Well, Lydia, to answer your question, yes, we can get a boat and Hearth.
Good.
Well, how are we going to carry the boat to the ocean?
I believe they have channels, so I don't think we have to carry it. And we're also not going to sail it. We're going to pay someone to sail it.
Okay. Paying
Alright.
somebody is good. Alright, so I guess, do we want to spend the night here? I mean, it's really fancy, and there's running water. That's a plus.
No, let's just get moving.
It's like sunset, just letting you know.
Yeah, Sheila stands by it.
It is a little bit late, Sheila. I appreciate your gumption and drive. However, I do not wish to be out at night in this cold weather.
This is why I work alone.
I'm down for whatever. Sheila, if you really feel like it, you're more than welcome to sleep outside the tower if you want a little bit more of a rough and tough.
Usually I would just work through the night, but if we're not moving, we're not moving.
Sheila, those who work alone die alone. That's all I have to say.
Well, I don't need a familiar because I'm not scared to die alone, so it's alright.
Damn!
Alrighty.
Before anyone does it, I call dibs on the bed, and she just, Lydia just runs downstairs and flops
Dibs on the
herself
bed upstairs. I'll go to the upstairs bed that Lydia didn't know about.
I will, put my bed roll down somewhere to chill. and I will poke around his kitchen and see if I can make anything.
So, with the stuff in the pantry, you definitely could use it to augment your stuff that you have and whip up something pretty decent, I would say. But it's all, like, non-perishable. There's no fresh food.
Oh, okay.
It seemed that the fresh food all got cleaned out, as you do before a trip, you know.
Alright. Cool.
Okay, cool. So you guys, kind of take your time to settle in. Kieran whips up something in the kitchen that's wonderful. I imagine that after... Oh, go ahead.
I'm absolutely making, like, a nice curry.
Yeah, nice. That sounds delicious. I'm hungry again. Okay, now I'm thinking about curry.
I'm gonna get more cheese.
Oh no. Okay, so as your, like, beautiful smells are coming from the kitchen that eventually entice you from your claiming of beds, there is a very plush couch in the living room, as well as the pillow pit upstairs is, like, very large. There's a lot of space up there. It could fit, like, about 4 or 5 people laying up there without touching very easily. So there's plenty of places to sleep, or you could put your bedrolls down. The carpet's pretty nice anyway. And you do share a meal together. Is there any conversation that you wish to have regarding your mission or anything along those lines, or any questions?
Oh, Kieran, what's your favorite dish to prepare?
I think Sly actually stepped away to get cheese because she said, "I want cheese," and cackled and then muted herself.
I guess it's cheese.
I guess it's cheese. So that question might need to wait a moment. Now that everybody's thinking about cheese.
So I am wondering, Shelia, you do seem quite powerful in your own right. Well, not all, but what are some of the missions that you've been on independently? I'm curious.
Well, just a few months ago, I raced Lillian and her partner to this staff in the volcano of Atmos. It was quite an intense battle. I trapped them in a force cage and then beat them to it.
Oh, that sounds quite fun. I've been around a couple of volcanoes in my time, and they can be quite treacherous.
Yes, the lava elementals were indeed. Don't you worry, I made sure the voice cage was safe for them, so they did not die.
That's good. It's always fun to have a bit of friendly competition, but not so fun whenever somebody ends up dead from it. I've been to the plane
if they
of
died,
fire,
I wouldn't have any good competition that I know
of. That is a good motivator. Have you ever seen salamanders before the fire type?
No, I cannot say I have.
Oh, well, good that you didn't run into them. They can be quite mean little bastards, quite honestly.
But if I did run into one, is it tameable?
DM, from my time in the plane of fire, would I think that you could, like, tame a fire salamander?
It would be hard. It would be very hard, and maybe require a high level of magic to assist.
Potentially you could, but I mean...
That's all I need to know.
Well, let me give you a little information so that you don't burn yourself off if you ever encounter one. My goodness, they are sentient in their own right, and they do speak, the tongue of the plane of fire, Ignan, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yep, I can't speak that, so that's of no consequence to me.
Well,
unless you teach me.
One moment, let me... Unfortunately, though I did spend a bit of time in there, I wasn't able to pick up the dialect that easily. You think I'd be able to, but whenever you're trying not to burn up, it's a little hard to focus on the finer types of society.
Well, I heard total immersion's the best way to learn a language, but
It is. However, like I say, it's not a pretty place down there.
it sounds
Why did you
beautiful.
go there
speak
in
so
the first
calmly.
place?
That's a good question. Why did
there?
you?
I
Did
got
you go there to fumes?
No, I got blasted into playing a fire, my dear. I was assisting somebody with an experiment, and, well, explosion. They thought I was dead. I turned into a pile of ashes, I think. At least that's what people say. And then I was in the playing a fire. 20 years? It was quite the formative experience, though. I appreciated it, but then I came back and the damn planet was on lockdown. I didn't exactly plan to get stuck here. But hey, life takes you where it will, and it's been quite fun. How many times have you actually been out of the library, Lydia? I'm a little bit curious.
They kind of forced me to leave the library once every 3 months.
Any interest in quests under your belt?
None whatsoever. Although I did manage to find a particularly lost catalog of books regarding carpets in the library. A fascinating story.
That does sound quite interesting, and well, I am very grateful that this is your christening adventure then. I hope that you do not die, and if you do, I will do my best to reverse it.
Yeah, it was actually categorized under the old dialect for rug, but it was quite an adventure trying to find it.
Well, Lydia like totally ignored your statement and just continued talking about her book.
I got the goods.
You got cheese.
I got lots of stuff.
Okay, you were asked a question while you were gone.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What was asked of me?
Lydia was curious what Kieran's favorite thing to make was.
Well, you know, I like a lot of variety of things, changing it up and figuring out new recipes and alternatives to those recipes, but bacon-wise, I always come back to these very, very nice scones. Have a little bit espresso, have a little bit of dark chocolate in them. Just, the best. Food-wise, I personally, you cannot go wrong with a classic rabbit stew.
That sounds delightful. With a nice red wine. Like feeling.
Yeah. He pulls, he goes into his bag of holding and pulls out a small bottle of wine, been safe in it, and sticks it back in.
Ooh. What are you saving it for?
When we succeed on this, I'll make you all my famous rabbit stew.
Alright, then I propose a toast to our success.
Absolutely.
I'll go digging through. Are there any unopened bottles of wine in Tobias's stock?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'll crack one of those and pour everyone a nice glass.
Okay. Are you going for... I would say that Kieran would know enough to be able to tell, like, the nice shit and the, like, okay, and the, like, $2 chuck. So what kind of vibe are you going for?
I'm going for, like, the third best thing in the stock.
Okay. Okay, cool. Sounds good. It's a beautiful, like, red blend, that has been aged, like, just the right amount of years, and you know that if it sits for, like, too much longer, especially if this guy's dead, that it would be a little bit of a shame. So, you pop that one open. It's delicious.
Alright.
Okay.
Well,
Is there...
Lydia?
Oh,
the
go ahead.
toast? What would you like to toast, Lydia?
For success.
You're here.
Absolutely. I will clink my glasses with everybody.
All right, and I think with that, we fade from the scene as you guys are enjoying. You guys take time to get ready and settle into wherever you're sleeping for the evening. Is there anything specific that you wish to do as you fall asleep?
Miriam's meditating with her flame, but other than that, not much else.
Okay. Miriam, as you meditate with your flame, you get the sense that you're drawing more power now, especially as you are taking off on this new quest. You feel your connection growing.
She will smile at that, and Miriam will take like about 30 minutes to write a poem, and then she will cast it into the flame as an offering to her patron.
Okay. I think it's a good point. Do you want to describe what happens as you level up to level 16?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will just use this as a little callous moment. So Miriam writes a poem mainly incorporating starfire, since that's kind of what's inspiring her at the moment. And as she tosses it into the flame, just once again, similar to what her Eldritch Blasts do, a small little phoenix of fire comes, and it's to wrap itself around her eyes for a moment before dissipating.
Oh, cool. Do you gain anything exciting?
Yes, Miriam is going to take the Eldritch Adept feat, and I am going to gain Speak with Animals at will.
Hey! That's cool. And very fitting, because now you have an animal. Anion. Nice. Okay. So, Kieran, as you're resting for the evening, do you, notice any power, any connection as you gain a level?
I mean, he probably, after taking a couple sips, would have, poured a small toast out for her. And would have... Is it a prayer? Is it just sending a silent conversation? And, that's what he have done.
Okay.
To kind of continue his, connection.
Awesome. And as you level up, what do you gain? What are you taking a level in, first of all, because you are a multi-class?
I'll be taking a level in Warlock. And, I should have prepared better for this. But, I'll be getting an extra Invocation.
Okay, and you're still kind of picking it?
I will be taking Eldritch Smite.
Nice. Alrighty. Lydia, do you do anything special as you go to bed?
Nope, nothing whatsoever.
Okay, and what are you taking your level in?
In Cleric.
Nice. Do you gain anything super exciting at this level up?
Nothing whatsoever.
Oh no, more spells.
Well, I get Turn Undead, but that's not really exciting at level 16.
I mean, it's still pretty exciting. Turn Undead is kind of a little OP. So, cool. So you wake up the next morning feeling a little bit more powerful. Alright, and last but not least, Shelia, do you do anything fun before you head to sleep?
No.
Okay, and what do you gain with your level?
I gained 7 hit points.
Okay, do you gain anything else? Any additional spells?
I get an 8th level spell, yeah.
Oh, fun.
Just casually. 8th level spell.
Yeah, I just get an 8th level
Not
spell.
as important as a hit point.
Yeah, not as important. 7 HP. Okay.
Of average.
Nice. So just to let you guys know, when they level up, I let them choose to either roll or take average, and they just have to stick with it throughout the entire campaign. So, they all made their choices and have stuck with it, and so there we go. All right, so you rise the next morning. The curtains, I assume, are pulled, and it's kind of dark in here, but you do get a little bit of sun peeking through, and it is beautiful outside. It's kind of like the remnants of the sunrise are peeking over the mountains. I assume that Kieran's up and putzing around the kitchen, and it smells like baked goods and bacon in there. And you guys...
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And you guys gather together, enjoy your breakfast, and is there anything that you wish to do in the tower before you set back out?
No, I think we're all good.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
So you descend the tower, and kind of walk out the main door, and as you do, Astra is a little bit more cuddly with Miriam this morning, but she, like, actually flies out the main door, and you see her, like, do a full loop in the rising sun. It looks like she is very excited to spread her wings. And then you hear Yanwa at the door knocker as you walk out, and she's shouting, "Astra, it's so good to see you!" And then, like, the cat and the door knocker have, like, a moment, and it straight up looks like they're carrying on a full conversation, because, like, Yanwa's given half of the conversation. And
All it has to hear what Astra's saying.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like Astra's, like, giving the full lowdown of kind of what happened on the trip. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it was so dumb. Of course, as soon as we're, like, taken upon by stone giants, Felgulis, like, does his little show-off thing that he always does and was trying to test his power, and he ran out of energy. And so Tobias had to ditch him. And then we're running away from all of these stone giants, and luckily we made it to the village just in time." And, like, during this whole time, Yanwa's like, "Oh my gosh, no, really? Ugh, of course he would." Like, straight up, like, girl gossiping this stuff. And so she kind of, like, gives this rendition and then talks about as they go into the village of Hearths, and they manage to make some friends with this person named... It's really cool that you can speak with animals now. This person named Ori, she calls her, who is the leader of the Light Chasers, and said that they, like, contracted the Light Chasers to take them north, and managed to make their way to Enzrune, where they left them behind, and then continued on the Reverberant Sheet. So, and about at this point, it seems that Jan was getting bored by the information. And Astra's like, "Are you paying attention or not?" And Jan was like, "I'm so sorry, it's been so long." And then they start talking about, like, just, like, reminiscing for a moment. So Jan wanted to talk a little bit more, and so she's, like, telling Astra all about the birds that she saw and so forth.
Fantastic. Once I'm sure that they're done talking, I will just... oh, by the way, Astra, it seems that I have happened upon a bit more energy to be able to better communicate with you, so if you wish for a bit of intellectual dialogue, or just chat about anything, I am absolutely here for the travels.
Oh, thank goodness. I've missed talking to people who can actually have conversations with me. Tobias couldn't all the time, but I love him to death.
Absolutely, and as we travel, I would absolutely love to learn more about his work. It seems that he's been doing some very interesting stuff.
Yeah, of course. I pay attention to it all. Whether or not I want to.
Well, nothing escapes the cat's eye, am I right?
Mm-hmm. So I love that this like conversation's happening, and the rest of the group I feel like is just like not waiting and like kind of half walking away to the beautiful valley in between the mountains here. And eventually Astra and Miriam do catch up, bidding Yanwa goodbye. And you make your way towards the separation in between, the pass in between two mountains, and walk back into Vitherfold. And I think that we're going to take a little bit of a brief break. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes, so 5-2. And we will see you guys back in just a little bit. Alrighty, my dears, we are back into the session. So in the first half of this session, the group continued their perusal of the Wizard's Tower, clearing out all of the area, gathering a lot of information on these magical items called Essence Pearls, as well as finding several Essence Pearls themselves. And it is... So with all this new information, they managed to learn that Felgolis was a dragon that the wizard Tobias managed to somehow create out of this primordial being with the use of various essence pearls and a ritual to counter the giant threat. And so in order to make Felgolis stable magically, he was looking for something called an essence crystal, which is the mote of this weave that is created with this exact power in mind. And so he followed the map of these stars to try to track that down when it would happen and get there sooner so that it wouldn't draw a bunch of enemies to it. It seems that he was some sort of unsuccessful as his contingency went off and a message was sent to Lillian, and you guys are now all here. So with that information in mind, with the map secured via the his familiar, the Tressym Astra, who can kind of project an interactive illusionary map with her eyeballs, you guys set off and head north towards kind of like west. There we go. Northwest towards the village of Hearths, following the path that Tobias took roughly about a month and a half-ish, 2 months ago. So, with that being said, you guys are on the path and you're walking north. And you're leaving the safety of the tower with all of this information gathered. Astra often, while you're traveling, she often flies alongside of you, seeming very excited to stretch her wings. Occasionally, she will tuck into your bottle with you, Miriam, and you guys have some long conversations about all of the things that Tobias was doing as well as what it was like. You get the sense that Astra loves Tobias, regardless of her kind of like snarky attitude. She cares about him immensely, as only a familiar could. It seems that she's not sure whether he is alive or dead, and she's unable to tell, which is a little weird, but she explains that it's because he tethered her to his tower, which is how she was able to return there, and so she's not tethered to him. And so it automatically casts Find Familiar at the tower every time she dies. So, you gain that information, but she seems to be a little bit of a precocious animal. She's always intrigued by food, and she's a little standoffish towards the rest of you, especially not being able to talk to you guys. But occasionally, Kieran, since I assume you feed her a lot, she will curl up next to you and purrs, like, right beside you, even though she, like, doesn't let you pet her when she is paying attention. But her...
I will take it.
Yep. You do get to pet her a little bit when she's sitting next to you like that. But her map leads you north, alongside the mountains. You travel for roughly a week. You see signs of animals, even several giants off in the distance. You also fight off an extremely large grizzly bear at some point. Shelia, you recognize signs of hunting parties going through and the occasional merchant cart along these paths that intersect, as well as the main path that you're kind of on. And a lot of these are very characteristic of the northern clans. However, you would note that there's far less activity than you would expect on the main road. So, is there anything that you guys wish to do during this first week of travel?
A lot of the time, like I said, I'm talking a lot with this cat, and like it lasts 10 minutes. Every time the 10 minutes goes up, I'm recasting Speak with Animals just so that she can talk with me whenever she wants, but I'm chatting in particular about like what they encountered during this stretch of the journey and what I should keep an eye out for. Okay.
So with that, she mainly tells you about some of the interactions you already know, like wild animals. She tells a story about how a saber-tooth tiger kind of came out of the mountains at one point, and this bronze dragon like wrestled it, which was a really entertaining to watch, she said. She also talks a bit about stone giants being a problem in this area. So, yeah.
I will at some point relay that to the party just to keep an eye out for signs of stone giants. Seem to be an issue.
Okay. What about the rest of you? Anything specific you're doing along this journey?
I would probably have casted my new spell a couple of times.
Okay. Do you want to describe to the listeners what that sounds like or what that looks like? Or actually, why don't we do this? One night when you settle down and you're falling asleep by the campfire, you take a little bit of time in a ritual to cast what spell, Kieran?
I will be casting the spell Dream, and he uses both components and his weapon pact as a spellcaster, and so he writes a little bit.
So he what?
So he has a nice quill and a bit of ink, and he starts to write a bit of magic before starting to fall asleep as well in a trance.
Alrighty. Will you display the spell for me just so that I can review a few things here?
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Okay. So it does say that the target must be on the same plane as you. However, because of your connection, I will allow you to roll for it. So the DC is going to be 15, and I'm going to have you roll just a straight charisma check.
Good.
Ooh, okay. So with that, as you're casting the spell and kind of falling into your trance, you get a little bit of a blip. You get like the sense, the feelings of kind of walking through a bit of a barrier, and you would recognize it as kind of like the end of the barrier of what this plane is, and the plane that your patron, Feia, imbibes. And so as you're kind of like falling into this weird dream trance, hold on, I'm just kind of skimming this quickly. So it says that you can shape the environment of the dream. So what do you make it look like as you kind of enter into her space and her plane?
I would have created like a really lovely, like very simple cabin with an outdoor kitchen, you know, like near a very like idyllic pond with lots of wildlife, a little too wild, just to have her feel a little bit more at home, and kind of like lounging, waiting on a very nice, like one of those like swinging benches, swinging chairs.
Okay. So as this happens and you're kind of lounging on one of the swinging chairs, you feel a presence in the cabin that kind of like appears as if entering into this dream state. And you watch as Feia opens the door and kind of walks out blinking sleepily. And would you like to actually describe what she looks like?
I think you, the DM, would have a much better representation. I just feel like she's pretty.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to like see if you had like a specific description in mind. Otherwise, I'll kind of go based off of what we talked about. So
I assume she shifts shapes a little bit.
Yeah, she does, definitely. So she, as she walks out, it is just like the essence of flowing. Her dress, if it could be called that, kind of dress, robes, hair is all flowing around her, in just like dark green. And her hair is kind of like black all the way from its roots to the bottom where it fades into like a lighter gray tones, and it almost brushes the floor in just like natural waves. And her very pointed ears peek through with just like a small circlet of kind of like mossy greens around her head, and a little bit of what you would recognize as nightshade is poked in there. And her very dark eyes look at you. They're almost black all the way through, which was a little unnerving at first, but so exotic that you found it beautiful. And her dainty features, she is a being of immense power, but she's small. And she looks at you and just like takes one look, blinking sleepily, and like kind of trying to pick up on what's happening and where you are, and recognizes this place as an extension of your magic as well as her magic, and just like grows. You watch her melt into this comfort, and like the whole of her self and her clothes moving around her just like fall around her, and then she like grins at you and kind of rushes forward towards you and jumps onto this swinging bench and falls into your chest and hugs you.
Oh, I hug her back, just like very gently stroking her hair, and goes, "Hello, darling. Been a while."
It's so good to see you, Kieran. This is the new power, right? I felt a little tug, like you could access a little more, and then I woke up here.
Yes. I wasn't sure if this would work. I'm kind of, bending the spell rules a little bit, but they're with our rules and our decisions, so I figure we can make the spell work a little bit differently than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I can do this, and I'll shift the environment of the dream to show like the city where I live, where the guild is, and kind of some of the very interesting aspects of it before bringing it back to this cabin.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk.
She is enraptured by you showing her Rosewick. She's like asking questions and like looking around with extremely wide eyes. And as you kind of settle back in, she asks about your mission and what you're doing in the adventures that you're on, and I assume that you tell most of it to her?
Yeah, of course. So, but I'll spend kind of like the remaining of this night, not to spend here too much time on this, but to spend the remaining of this night like talking with her and like letting her know what's happening and conversing and just spending good company.
The only thing that... Here, let me see something. Yeah, okay. So when you mention Felgolis, she'll actually say, "Oh, that's interesting. Before this world existed, in the same universe, there used to be an super old planet that was dying, and the gods and primordial beings on there is like a whole separate pantheon, kind of chose to pass with it, as their energy and connection to that material plane faded, and several of the primordial beings that had been stuck in their plane, I recognize that name, and I think he was one of them. I don't think he was evil or anything, but just locked away for whatever reason, like I am. And so that's interesting and very intriguing. But I've heard rumors and whispers of his name through the connection to the Feywild there.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Okay, well, be safe. And so
Of course.
you spend time talking with her. You give her a very sweet goodbye as we kind of like pan out, and you wake up with just like a smile, and the entirety of your tattoo that normally sits around your ring finger has come to encase your hand and actually has left imprints of every place she touched. And so like you are fully covered in just this swirling, almost vine-like black tattoo today.
Yeah, there's definitely what looks like almost fingerprint, like kind of like on his cheek.
Aw.
He does not address it at all, unless someone says something.
Okay. So that happened one of the evenings while you guys were traveling along here. And we kind of zoom back in on this little bit of a travel montage and continue our travel north here. But is there anything else specific that you guys wish to do on your first week of travel?
I think Lydia would test the essence pearls, test them out.
Okay. How would you like to test them?
Take one essence pearls and figure out the tier and then cast a spell with it.
Okay. So first I do have a very important question. Shelia, while you were loading all of the essence pearls into that bag, did you hang on to the one that you had touched, or did you let it go?
I let it go.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So Candle, if you would, go ahead and reach into the bag and roll a D100.
Yes, ma'am.
Holy
That's a 78.
shit. Okay. So with the 78, you pull from it, and you have found a tier 5 essence pearl. So it has 7 charges, which means that you could attempt to cast a spell from it up to 7th level if you want to expend the entirety of the essence pearl. And kind of looking into the bag, you get the sense that there are about 5 or maybe 6 other pearls in there.
Okay. Is there the one that I saw Shelia active?
It does not look like it is activated anymore since she did not hold on to it.
Gotcha. Well, I don't want to... If this thing works, I don't want to waste a tier 7 spell, so I'll just hang on to it in my pocket and just continue my way.
Okay. Go ahead and just make an Arcana check for me.
Yes, ma'am. Arcana... That is a 25.
Okay. So with a 25, you get the sense that, like, you've read in depth. I assume that you've poured over this journal several other times after. You get the sense that this thing would work. You can feel the weave energy and just like the natural innate magical ability and just the possibilities. So spells that you've seen Lillian cast that you've never had access to because she is a wizard and you are not, you get the sense that you could maybe try to mimic. You can feel like just... You watch as your friends are kind of puttering around as you're traveling, and just like the temptation to like reach out and change things slightly is there.
Understood.
Alrighty, is there anything else that you guys wish to do during these couple of days?
I do ask Candle, are you still not telling Kieran and Miriam about them?
Oh, I'll tell Kieran no problem, but I will definitely not talk to Miriam about it.
Alright.
Unless she overhears.
Follow-up question. Yeah. Astra telling me about them?
Oh, yeah. Astra full-on will, like, have conversations about them with you. And I assume that you overhear Lydia talking about it at some point.
Miriam will continue to pretend like she knows nothing about this, even though she spent like on one of these days like an hour just talking about the subject.
Solid. Love that.
But yeah, cool. I will say, Kieran would definitely be like, I absolutely want to see what happens if I grab one.
Okay, are you gonna ask to grab one? I think
Oh.
I don't know who has the bag.
Lydia does.
Lydia has the bag.
I absolutely will. I'll just be like, yeah, come on, please.
Lydia will sigh and just open a bag for her to pick one.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna grab one.
Yay! Roll a d100.
Oh, I'm gonna nat one. We all know I'm gonna nat one.
Get the defunct one.
41!
Okay, so you get a tier 2 essence pearl, so it has the equivalent of 4 charges.
Okay.
So go ahead and mark that in your inventory somewhere.
Alright.
If you guys want, I will make magic items. I just would have to make like a separate one for each tier, and so I just have not had time to do that yet. But I will at some point.
Or what you
Oh,
can
cool.
do is you can just make one with the total amount of charges, and we can just be good stewards and just write how many charges you get.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll figure out the best way to go about it. So just remember what how many charges you have.
Alright.
So, I have a question. It's
Mhm.
been bugging me for a while. When Tressym is actually speaking to Miriam, how is she speaking? Is she doing like cat, like speaking with her eyes and licking herself and stuff like that? How do they speak?
So cats make a lot of noises that human ears can't necessarily hear. So occasionally it like looks like they're having a full-on conversation. It seems that Astra has picked up a lot of like for lack of better terms, human tendencies, like nodding or kind of expressions that happen. So you witness those just in terms of body language, but you can't necessarily hear as much with the exception of like occasional meows.
Gotcha.
So, but it straight up looks like Miriam's having a one-sided conversation with a cat.
Not the weirdest thing she's done.
Probably not.
Not the
Yeah,
weirdest
we've
thing
seen
she
her
will
talk to
do.
curtains before.
Yeah. I think not the weirdest thing she'll do in the future. It's what we love about her.
If I'm lucky, it will not be far from the weirdest thing I do in the future.
Alright.
Okay. Alrighty, so I would say with that, you guys continue your journey, and it gets colder. A lot colder as you head north. You wake up in your tents shivering despite the heating charms, and, like, you can feel your breath, and you know when you, like, breathe out and you can, like, feel the moisture, like, start to freeze that quickly? It's starting to get that cold. So roughly a week of travel on a clear day, kind of near that like area where Astra had lit up saying like, you need to stop here. So if you've been kind of paying attention to the map, you're kind of close to that, and it's a very beautiful, clear morning. The smell of evergreen trees that dot the mountains are ever present on your left, and Astra perks up at the end of breakfast. And you watch as she begins to get really antsy, and she's doing that animal thing where she like points in one direction and then like starts to anxiously look back at you. And as soon as you're all completely packed up, she takes off. And she's continuing to check that you're following, and then she like is moving forward at a rapid pace.
Oh, right. Right behind her was Speak Animals Up.
Okay. She just says, I think Felgolis was left behind over here, and it's really weird because I smell more stone giants than normal, but I also smell something familiar, someone familiar.
Alright, that's quite interesting. Everybody, this is where Felgolis was left behind, and she's smelling a good amount of stone giants more than normal, and someone smells familiar.
Aha, so prepare for a potential fight. Got it.
Is there anything that you wish to do knowing this information because of Speak with Animals?
We should probably be a bit sneaky as we're walking in. We don't want to automatically trip everybody up.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well then as you're kind of approaching, you're gonna travel a little bit slower, which Astra, after you kind of explain that to her, seems okay with and kind of like gets it. She's circling like above you, pretty far up in the sky and almost blends in with the snow-capped mountains. But as you guys kind of settle in and begin to move a little bit quieter, I'll have you roll me all stealth checks.
Spam.
Doing great.
Holy shit.
Oh no! No.
Sheila half-heartedly tries.
I love that.
I'll sneak on ahead.
Okay, so Kieran's
Sheila
kind
just tried to get your highs from Sheila.
So Kieran kind of sneaks on ahead and is following Astra up in the sky, and the rest of you guys are a little bumbly. Sheila's like barely even trying. And after about an hour, you guys see a little bit of a turnoff off the road on a small path, and Astra like loops down and kind of like gets your attention, Kieran, especially because you're in the lead, and then like turns and leads you down that small path.
Oh, I'll follow.
Okay. And after a bit, it loops up and in between the mountains and kind of begins to take you a little bit further north than you were initially going. So you're kind of at this loop, this turn in the mountains, and you continue north and you begin to hear noises ahead of you. So for those who want to kind of like examine that a little, the noises that are heading ahead of you, go ahead and make me a perception check.
I'm getting my bad rolls out of the way first, guys.
You said perception, right?
Correct. Okay, so with a 12 and a 13, Miriam and Shelia, you guys are a little distracted hearing a bit of your own bumbling and your sneaking, and are like not hearing what's happening around you, but more hearing the steps on twigs that you're making and the like crunch of snow beneath your feet. Kieran, you hear ahead of you the sound of rocks clashing. You hear a bit of a fight and some yelling in Giant. That's like, do you speak Giant?
I do.
Okay, cool. So both you and Lydia would hear this, but like, get back here, you puny mortal, and then like a huge boulder sound, and then you're in the way, you're in our territory, we claimed this, and then like you don't hear the response because obviously the voice is a little bit quieter than a booming stone giant. But it sounds, I would say that with a 25 perception, that Lydia, especially with the books you've read, would recognize this as different from a hill giant. They're a lot more eloquent, and with Astra's warning, you assume that there's several stone giants ahead in the middle of some sort of battle.
Okay. Well, there's a battle up ahead with some stone giants. We could intervene and rescue the individuals that are fighting these stone giants, or we could just leave them to their fate and continue on.
Astra straight up, when she hears this, stops and like drops like straight in front of you and just is staring at you like in your line of sight, maintaining her height, and just glares.
Don't look at me like that. If you die, you just poof up back at the tower. If we die, we just become worm food.
She rolls her eyes in a very, like, human-like thing, and then takes back off and is, like, leading you back in the way of the fight.
Well, we should see what's going on before we take any rash actions.
Well, I vote to rescue whoever's fighting, but, I mean, we don't have to listen to a cat. What does everybody else think?
If you're looking for Kieran, he's, like, melted into the forest, but if you, like, look for him, he's clearly, like, going automatically to, like, go help out.
I'm absolutely following Kieran.
Seems we've been outvoted, Lydia.
Alright.
Okay. So, as you walk for just a couple more minutes, you're still trying to maintain some of your stealth there, and you hear this battle raging ahead of you as you watch the kind of path. You have a lot of mountains rising up on either side of you, and then it like kind of dips and then like drops off into the valley on your right side, and you hear noise and a clash of rocks, and then you hear just like a peal of laughter. And you come upon this this sight of several stone giants, some of them dressed in the typical way that I think Shelia has probably seen several stone giants before, but with their leathers very well done, boulders set upon the sides of their like hip pouches, great clubs that they are holding and wielding, as well as two like different looking ones that seem to have some sort of shaman kind of indication with runes across their bald heads and staves in their hand. And they seem to be fighting something, and you watch as this figure kind of like leaps around the shoulders of one, and she's like running her sword down this gigantic giant's back, and just laughing the whole way down, like this blue trail of her hair following behind her. And she seems to be like having a grand old time, but it is one figure versus 5 giants, and I'm going to drop you guys on over to that map. And so you guys are on the bottom left corner if you wish to add yourselves. And for those who are about to jump in and want to assisticate here, I will have you roll initiative, but it seems like there is already a fight happening.
Is it alright if I'm a little bit further ahead?
Yeah, because you were further ahead, so I will let you be a little bit further ahead.
Cool beans. Beans are cool.
The dice gods seem to want to ignore my initiative.
Oh no. Okay. I will add you in just a second.
Oh no, I saw that initiative.
Yeah, that natty 20.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, she wasted a nat 20, alright?
Exactly.
Okay, what did you roll, Lydia?
10. It's fine, I'll type it.
Oh, okay, cool. Messing with the music because it's a little loud. There we go. That should be better. Okie dokie. Sounds good. So let's take a look here. Let me make sure I got everybody. I have Kieran. I have her. I have Miriam. Which, between Lydia and Shelia, do you guys want to select someone to go first, or do you want to go by dexterity order?
Lydia can go first.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, so as you guys are walking up, this is about where you are. It is a little ways off still. You're not positive if these creatures or this figure fighting them has seen you yet, but it seems that they are in the midst of this battle. And so Let me take a look. I love it when my monsters aren't split up, which is why I did that, but that's fine.
Oh, no fireballs. Damn.
I know, right? Okay. Dang. Even with your shitty stealth rolls, the group did pretty well overall because of Kieran. Okay, so these creatures seem to throw rocks. These two shaman-like ones are going to pick up rocks and throw them quickly at... I don't have my whisper rolls on. That would have been... Okay. But they seem to be reaching up and throwing rocks at this creature that you see. She seems to, as you kind of get a closer look, Kieran especially, you see some sort of genasi-like figure. You're not sure what primordial elemental being she is yet, but she is wielding a gigantic greatsword and she is moving quickly. And you watch as she dodges two boulders, but then one kind of catches her in the sternum and she wheels back from it a little bit, and then another comes in and catches her, and she just plants her feet and digs them in and shoves back against the rock. It seems to do a bit of damage to her, but not as much as you would have expected. And she does not get knocked prone from these rocks. So, okay, let me subtract that damage. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Okay, and then it is these guys' turn. They don't seem to notice you guys creeping up, so they're gonna attack what they see. These two are going to step forward. Oh no. Don't swallow up my person. So this one's going to take his Great Club attacks. That one misses. That one does hit and does a little bit of damage to her. And then the second one, rather than that, attempts to like reach down and grab her and latch his meaty hand, but you guys just watch as she like nimbly dodges out of the way and it doesn't quite get purchase on her. And then the one up on the hill over here like rolls a rock down the hill and yells those who can understand giant for this one to step out of the way, which he does. And so he rolls a rock straight down the hill here and into her. And she kind of, does it take half damage? No, it doesn't. So yeah, so she manages to dodge out of the way of this rock rolling down. And this whole time she's kind of just like laughing, and she is dancing almost around these creatures and kind of taunting them. You can't quite pick up on the taunts, but it seems that she is taunting them. Okay, so that is monster turns. What are you doing, Kieran?
Alrighty. Cool. So I'm gonna do some fun stuff. I'm going to shoot off 3 Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
At these two. 2 on this top one on the bottom one. We'll do the first 2.
Okay. Those 3 all hit. So the first 2 are at the top. Go ahead and roll me some damage.
So it'll be a total of 21 for this top one and 13 for the bottom one.
Okay. So, your Eldritch Blasts come swinging from around the corner and hit the top one in 2 quick successions in his back, and he turns, and just as he turns, like one more goes swinging past him and into his companion right next to him, and it seems that they now notice that you are there. What are you doing?
I'm running. Hold on. I want to see how far I can get. Because my walking speed when I do attack actions increased by 10 feet.
Nice,
And
nice.
so I'm going to use my action and my bonus action. I'm going to use my movement and then my bonus action. So I can get to up to 80 feet. Hold on, let me just check to make sure I did that properly. Roughly. I'm having issues. Hold on.
You're doing great. You're fine.
It's roughly 80 feet. I skirted around the edge a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. And I'll yell back in giant. How about you pick on someone your own size? Oh, wait!
That's funny. Okay. Cool. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, that'll be all.
Okay. So, you see this, so now that you're a little bit closer, you can get a better glimpse at her. She seems to be a fire genasi, but she's wreathed in blues, and her hair, like, almost, like, stands straight up when she's standing still, which is very rarely, and it is all sorts of, like the super hot fire. And she is just dancing around and having a great time, and she grins at you in just like this moment of recognition, and just kind of shouts out and says, "Hey, welcome to the party here." And she turns and just shoots. You see just like a bolt of blue energy shoot out from her chest, and hold on, let me see. And hits the creature that you took a couple swings at. She seems to be focusing down on that one. And he needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Okay, he fails. And so this energy like smacks him in the face. And it seems to do a little bit of damage to him. And then he's pawing at his eyes like he can't see. And with that, she goes, "Perfect," and takes some swings at him at advantage because he is blinded. So, boop-a-doop. Oh, weird. Why is this not working? That's so weird. My D&D Beyond thing isn't loading properly. We're gonna reload. I hope you enjoyed my beautiful song. Okay, cool.
Encore.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was
Just
beautiful.
go-
I think we're all inspired by
Thank
it.
you. No, you don't get inspiration. Okay, so the first one does hit, but the second one doesn't, even though he's blinded. So she manages to dig her greatsword that you see a burst of flame come from into this creature. And hold on, I'm doing math. And digs it into his shin, and then as she pulls it out and goes to swing again, he reels back, and it just does not hit. So, but that's the end of her turn. Okay, Miriam, go ahead.
Alrighty, let's see. First off, I am just going to get up a little bit further. If I can get over to there. Which one's blinded again?
This one up here.
Cool, yeah. I can see him, so I'm going to take 6 Eldritch Blast at him.
Jeez.
Are these all at advantage?
Yeah, because he's blinded.
Cool. Alright. 1. Alright, first one's an 18. I will just roll damage once I've done all of them. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6.
Okay, so 5 of those hit, so go ahead and roll damage for 5 of those.
Oh, 5, 10, and the first one does an extra 5 fire damage, and I... let's see, do I want to do this?
Do
That's 7 damage, and I am just going to keep forcing him back against this wall as I'm just pushing him 50 feet into the wall.
Okay, so you legit rolled the exact amount of hit points he had left. And so as this being is just like being pelted from behind and blind, you just begin to wear a hole straight through his chest as he gets shoved against this wall and against this wall. And eventually you burst open and you can see through his chest the other side of the stony wall. And he just slumps down dead. And the woman like looks at you and you just see like pure joy on her face.
Oh my goodness, I didn't think that'd kill him, but here we are.
Okay, that was your action. Do you have anything else you want to do?
That was my action and my bonus action.
Okie dokie. Sounds like a plan. Lydia, what are you doing?
Lydia is just gonna casually walk closer. So plop 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 up to over here, and she's gonna cast Guiding Bolt on this dude. That to give advantage to this person.
Okay, go ahead and roll the hit.
Yes, ma'am. That is a 21 to hit.
Beautiful. That hits for 16 radiant damage. As your bolt of energy goes and hits this stone giant, and it is lit up in just like a beautiful radiant energy.
That will end my turn.
Okay, sounds good. Sheila, what are you doing?
Sheila will run her movement 30 feet, and she'll reach out and throw a green ball up over this giant's head. And then she'll take her fist and kind of slam it downward, and a big bee's hand will smash into it.
Yeah.
Love that.
24 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
I think it's just 14 damage.
Okay.
Would that be at advantage?
That wasn't at the one that got hit by the guy.
Oh! Okay, never mind. Sorry,
But
dear.
thank you for paying attention to that. Okay, beautiful. As the big bee's hand gets slammed down there. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So, let's drop a U token there, and I'll make it bigger. If you want to drop it, because then you can control it, and then when that can just be your big bee's hand. Is it large?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like super concentrating on trying to get this thing big. Yay! Okay. I'm gonna drop a green dot so we know. Oh, we both did. Okay, that's fine. It could be 2 dots.
Big woman!
Alrighty. So, with that, Big B's hand, is there anything else you wish to do?
No.
Alrighty. So, seeing things come by, this... Ooh, I like this. This creature is going to kind of walk away from the Big B's hand. Does that get attack of opportunity?
Only if you say so.
I wouldn't think so. Because,
Yeah,
like, I don't
it
think
does.
spiritual weapon does.
No, spiritual weapon doesn't.
Okay. So, and as it's walking, you just feel like an energy coming off it, Kieran. So would you make me a charisma saving throw?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wait, just kidding. That's at the start of your turn. Never mind, you weren't in the aura, so you're good. It's cool. We'll just remember that later, I say, when I will 110% probably forget it. And this creature looks at you with just, like, a little bit of anger, and it seems to kind of sense that you were the one who smashed it with the green hand. And so it is going to pick up and throw a rock at you, Sheila. So that's a 28 to hit.
Yes, that will hit.
Okay, so I need a strength saving throw, and then you're going to take 26 bludgeoning damage. Okay, so you, similar to the other girl, managed to kind of catch the rock and, like, push it away from you. You still do take the 26 bludgeoning damage, but you do not fall prone underneath it. So, and then she throws another rock, but you kind of see it coming and manage to dodge out of the way, because I don't think a 12 hits you.
No.
All right. And this one is going to step forward over here and go up to you, Kieran, because it sees you running up there and is going to hit you with its great club. Okay, that's a
try.
27 to hit you.
Holy shit, yeah, that hit.
Okay, so that's 21 bludgeoning damage for that, and then does a 14?
No.
Okay, so...
And 21 bludgeoning?
Yes. So as the first great club manages to catch you in the side, and you kind of get like shoved back a little bit, and it hurts. But then you see it coming and you kind of like see the space where the great club's going, and you manage to dodge out of the way. And as you're looking at this creature as it's like right up in your business, you notice like it has little bits of like, it has creatures formed in stone along its skin. There's like the head of a lion out of its shoulder, and like you actually see a goblin kind of like as it lifts its great club, you see a goblin like in its side, petrified. And you're not sure if it's just like made some really elaborate carvings out of its skin or what.
I wonder if it's a mind goblin.
You don't know. Alright, that is the end of its turn, and my other giants are going to do stuff. So this one is going to... Oh, heck yes. Is going to move right here. Ooh, let's see. I don't think this is long enough. No, it's not. That sucks. Okay. It is going to throw. It's gonna throw a rock at... Why'd you roll? Oh, you got hit. I was like, thank you. Thank you. I was trying to figure out why you were rolling Constitution. It's gonna throw a rock at you, Lydia, and then one at Miriam. So that's a 14 to hit Lydia, which I think misses, and a 13 to hit Miriam, which I also think misses.
Yep.
You are
Okay.
correct.
That is his turn. And then this one is going to... Mac. Ooh, that's a natty 1. So this one continues its swing down on the person in front of it, and she manages to just very deftly like dodge out of the way, and kind of like catch the edge of the great club, and then he just like backhands it and smacks it into her chest and sends her flying, as she takes a pretty hefty hit there. But she does get to her feet and is kind of like staying there, and it doesn't seem to have swayed her. So that is the end of their turn. Okay, Kieran, what are you doing?
Alrighty. Well, this one's a bitch and hit me. Which, you know, is quite mean. So I am going to bonus action cast Hex on it.
Okay.
Lots of fun, and that will have to be at the 5th level. So we'll just do a little cast. So I get to do a little extra necrotic damage.
Okay, and
And
you're
then-
doing the one that's right in front of you?
Yes, the one
Oh!
that's currently right in front of me.
I totally forgot. At the start of your turn, I need you to roll me 2 charisma saving throws.
2. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I think 3 went through. Nope. I have a 14 and a 28.
Okay, so the 14 actually makes it. And you feel just like this magic come into the back of your head, and for who your patron is, you know what charm spells feel like, and it feels like this giant in front of you is attempting to charm you.
Alright, good to know.
As well as the one behind you, but you get the sense that since you managed to overcome this effect, that you cannot be affected by it.
Okay, cool. I'll just yell back to the group. They might try to charm. Be careful. And then I will cast my Hex. I would know this. For Lydia's spells, what is the... just ability checks on saving throws. But,
For what?
1 second, let me display Hex for you really quickly.
Okay.
I choose one ability to cast the spell, and the target has disadvantage on ability checks made with those chosen abilities.
Yes, so it's ability checks, not saving throws. So, a lot of spell effects won't necessarily be affected by Hex, except for some that might make you make an investigation check, or any that might make you make a strength check or grapple things. So saving it's because it's ability checks, not saving throws.
Yeah, I'll still do, because I can pick. I'll choose dexterity.
Okay,
Cool.
sounds good. So this creature is
alright.
hexed.
Yes. Will you put a little dot
I did. It's blue.
or some kind of indication? Thank you. Alrighty, and then I will take 2 attacks. Do a 1 and a 2.
Okay, so
Does
the 15 misses, but the 23 does hit.
Alright. So that'll be just the 7 piercing damage, because there are no allies.
Okay, go ahead and roll your hex damage.
Oh, it rolled 4 initially, unless you want me to re-roll the 6.
Oh, we can take the 4 for... No, well, it's a hex, so it's not 2d6. It's 1d6?
No, yeah,
when you cast it up there. Got it. I see it. Yeah, we can take that 4 for now.
Alright, sounds good.
Cool. Anything else?
That is my action and my bonus action.
Cool. So this creature is now marked as kind of like black swirls begin to form around their head, kind of sucking some of their energy as you take several swings, and it does manage to kind of like block your first one with its great club, but the second one does find purchase in kind of the shin area. Okay.
And then I would like to swing around while still maintaining. I'd like to swing around to over here. Am I still within range?
Yep, you're still within its attack range.
Cool. And I will end my turn here.
Okay, sounds like a plan. She's going to do pretty much the same thing. You watch as energy kind of gathers and she shoves it at this creature. Let's see if it fails. It's save and throw. Oh no, I rolled. Did not roll. It succeeds. That's unfortunate. So it manages to dodge out of the way and kind of like catch it on its stony skin, and doesn't seem to have an effect or blind it, and she kind of growls at it. Ooh, that's a crit. And then a natural 1. The duality of the dice. Okay.
Well, she did have advantage, so if you want to re-roll that natural 20, see if she crits again.
No. Okay, so she drives her flaming greatsword into this thing's, like, sternum, leaping up to it, and it seems to do quite a bit of damage there, and kind of leaves this burst of energy that you guys can see from the other side, and then as she like ducks under this thing's legs and kind of moves over to here, her second attack does not find purchase, and that is the end of her turn. Okay, Miriam, what are you doing?
Alrighty, first off, bonus action, I am going to begin to fly as fire just swirls around my feet, and I am going to move up here, because that. And for my action, I am going to cast Summon's Shadow Spawn.
Okay.
So you guys watch as, I believe I mentioned that right here, a bit of darkness begins to form, and out of it just this creature that just seems to almost only consist of gnashing teeth and talons and such forms, and I am going to form a Fury Shadow Spawn. And for its action, for the first off, it's going to use Dreadful Scream. So, unfortunately, both Stranger and Kieran, you guys are going to have to make this as well, but I need each of these 3 giants to make a Wisdom saving throw against DC 18 or be frightened.
Okay.
Alrighty. Wiz, you said?
DC is 18.
Wisdom, yeah.
Yeah, Wisdom.
Oh no. Okay, so of the giants, the hexed one is the only one who did make it. The other 2 giants failed. And then...
And which one? Right there?
Yeah, the one that Kieran's by. Right here.
Alrighty. So that's its action, and so now it is going to... Yeah! Alrighty, it is going to get right here. And kind of act as a stopgap, because I don't believe frightened creatures can get closer to the source of their fear.
Ooh, love that. Okay. So, as this magical effect happens, you watch as she failed, the mysterious lady failed her saving throw, and you see kind of like the fear come across her face as this creature moves away from her. But you see just like a burst of tumultuous magic come from her. And she... Let's see what happens. Immediately... Okay, cool. Bloop, bloop. Okay, cool. And you see her kind of like take this dark energy that you summoned, and she actually like pulls energy from it. And these 2 shadowy tendrils lash out at the 2 giants that are around her. Let's see if they succeed their saving throw, because this happens immediately. That one succeeds. That one, I think, fails. Double check. Oh, it didn't actually calculate, but that sucks. 9 plus 8 is what my brain is having a moment. 17. Thank you. Okay, so that one does fail. Cool. So it seems that this one here takes a little bit of what you would recognize as necrotic damage, Kieran, and the tendril connects to her, and she seems to pull the energy and heal a little bit.
Okay.
So, but she is frightened. Okay, that's the end of her reaction, Miriam, if you have other stuff that you would like to do.
Nope, that is my turn being.
Okay. Cool. Lydia, what are you doing?
Yeah, Lydia is just going to do a rinse and repeat since she can't do anything really cool from here. Oh, and it's just going to guiding a bolt on this one as well, again.
Okay. Go for it.
Guiding bolt. That is a 17 to hit or 24 damage.
Which one were you casting it on?
This one right here.
Okay, perfect. Cool. 17 is its AC, so meets it, beats it. So, 24 radiant damage. It's starting to stagger a bit. Your bolts kind of got it right in the lower part of its chest and hip and knocked it off balance. And it leaves an opening highlighted by you. Just kind of like a, hey, hit here. Anything else you want to do?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Shelia, what are you doing?
Can I get a frequency check from this one if it's still coming at me?
What do you mean by frequency check?
Like a vibe check, but bigger.
What are you looking for?
If it's still locked in on me?
Oh, okay. Well, with the source of its fear, it does seem to be afraid of the thing in front of it, and so it looks like it's about to not be able to come closer to you.
Okay, great. Big hand Sheila will give it a good old donkey punch in the back of the head then.
Okay, cool. Roll for
25.
donkey punch definitely hits.
I love the fag just spell attack. Brings me much joy.
12 damage.
Okay.
And then I'll use my action to Ray of Frost it in the mouth.
Cool.
I don't think so, actually. 17.
Yeah, 17 does not hit. This
Alright,
thing
that's
seems
all
to
I
be
got.
have a little bit harder skin than the other ones.
That's all I got.
Okay. Oh shoot, Lydia, you were in its spell effect and I totally forgot. So we're going to ignore that and I'll just be better next time. Okay. Come on.
Lydia's just too cool to be.
Lydia's just too cool to be charmed, you know. No big. Definitely how that works. Not the DM forgetting things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. So this thing is going to attempt to yeah, that hit. Is going to attempt to swing at the shadow spawn. It's at disadvantage because it is afraid, correct?
Yes.
Bloop, bloop. Okay, so does a 15 hit?
No.
Okay, so a 12 definitely does not hit, as it swings twice at this creature, and it just, the shadows do not coalesce enough for the Great Club to find purchase. And it seems to be this one is going to continue to bear down on you, Kieran.
Alright.
That's a 2 23s to hit.
Damn!
Yeah, I know.
This one's not frightened, correct?
Nope.
Alright, good to know. Yeah, both will hit.
Do you have uncanny dodge?
I do.
Okay. Just curious.
Wait,
okay.
let me double check that. Hold on.
I'm not sure how high of a level of a rogue ability it is off the top of my head.
Don't remember. I'm only 3 levels into rogue.
Oh, I don't think you have it then. I think it's higher. So it'd be in your reactions. Okay.
Yeah, nope.
Cool. Just seeing, because you take a total of 50 damage as this thing smacks into you with 2 Great Club attacks.
Well, fuck him in particular.
Yeah, and it's just unnerving watching this thing come at you, and that goblin is just like staring at you and like stony faced with like a scream in its mouth as it's like tearing down on you. Okay. That is the
That's
end.
what I'm really afraid of.
As the goblin.
Yep.
That is the end of their turn. This one is going to move forward. Its movement. And then, you're flying, Miriam?
Yes, and I can hover.
Oh, man. Okay. So it's going to throw 1 rock at Sheila and 1 rock at Lydia. So this one, 12 misses Sheila, I assume. Oh my gosh, this poor guy. He's rolled boo-boo. So 13 misses Lydia, I assume. So his
Indeed.
attacks are not fun there. So the 2 rocks, you just see them coming and manage to like step out of the way quick enough, and it's not a big deal there as you dodge. Okay. This one is going to continue to bear down on its prey here, and does manage to hit her with 2 attacks. And does a bit of damage, but it seems that she's tanking it pretty well. So, and that is the end of his turn there. Okay, Kieran, what are you doing?
Well, I'm frightened, but I've been with Miriam long enough. She knows what I can do, and so with my bonus action, I will cast form of dread.
Mm-hmm.
So I am immune to the frightened condition. I'll roll my temp HP. Alrighty. I'll gain 15 temp HP, which is looking great right now. And then, alright, we're gonna take one attack towards this very lovely man. I'm aiming for that fucking goblin.
Okay.
Damn! Does a 13 one hit?
You're like
with
so
it?
focused on hitting the goblin that you managed to like smack it into your sword into like the goblin's shin that you kind of see poking out, and your sword just gets stuck for a moment and you're like trying to pull it out. It does not hit.
Damn! Fucking A. I will go for it again.
Okay. 26 does hit.
26. Alright, it'll take, 13 piercing damage. And then I need it to... I need it to make a wisdom saving throw. DC 19.
Okie. That's a 16.
It is now frightened of me.
Oh, I just realized these things are immune to being frightened. So, these ones in particular. So this one's actually not frightened, but we'll just say that it was very focused on not charging Shelia down because this thing's in front of it and attempted to frighten it. This is why you read your stat blocks.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Alright, but, as I do that, I am gonna use a flourish.
Okay.
My mobile flourish. So let me roll a d6 really quickly. So it will take, an extra 6 damage, and it is also, I need to roll, that con save. Which would be a DC 25, which I am physically incapable of getting.
No, it's 2 separate attacks, so you'd have to roll 2 separate con saves. So the first one you have to beat an 11, and the second one you just have to beat... Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. It was... Where was it? It was a 19 total and a 31 total. So you have to beat 10 for the first one, and then a 15 for the second one.
I have advantage.
Okay, so you're fine. You still have hacks.
Cool. So I'll roll an extra d6 damage. I'm just gonna roll this right here. So that'll be on this one a total. Yeah! Hell yeah! That'll be a total of 13. That'll be a total of 25 damage on this one.
Okay, cool. Does your mobile flourish do anything other than just more damage?
Yes, ma'am. It is pushed 5 feet plus the number rolled. So I push it 11 feet.
Okay. Where do you want to push it?
I would like to shove it this way. So I'd like to shove it away from me.
Okay. That is 10 feet away from you.
Cool. And then I am going to move my little ass here. Would she be able to gain flanking from me from this?
Yes. I think that it was gargantuan creatures you can't. I think huge is fine. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So.
I play by your rules, DM.
I play by my rules, but I don't remember my rules. Okay, sure. I'll allow flanking on a huge. It's fine.
Cool. We're great.
We're great. So. It's cool. Sounds good. And you actually just pushed her right out of this thing's aura. So she doesn't have to make a saving throw, which is great. And she's going to... Hold on, let me see. Yeah, she's gonna stay where she is. And hold on, let me just take a peek at something. Okay, cool. She is going to take her 2 attacks at advantage at this thing. Both hit and seem to do quite a bit of damage as she bears down on this thing. And actually, Kieran, with your distraction, let me just check something. It looks like this thing, and with the kind of the guidance of where to hit from Lydia, it looks like this thing is on its like absolute last leg. It is barely hanging on with the burst of energy that happens there. And actually, hold on. Let's see if that can do it. Oh, this one I think just happens upon the first part, so does not happen. Okay, cool. So it's barely hanging on, and that's the end of her turn. Okay, Miriam, what are you doing?
Alrighty, I am going to start taking some attacks at the one who is currently sandwiched. So between Blue Fire and Kieran. So.
Okay.
Yes!
Okay, let me tell you something. This boy is at 1 HP, so how do you want to kill this thing with a very over-the-top Eldritch Blast?
So you just watch as from Miriam's fingertips, a phoenix comes spiraling out. And it is like, if you've ever seen a peregrine falcon dive, it is going that fast as it just slams right into the chest, and you see the fire twist around, and then you see it go out through the back and disappear into a puff of light.
Beautiful. I love that. Alrighty.
Alright.
I love that. Okay, cool. So that's your first Eldritch Blast.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't like this chick. She's been menacing my friend, so I am going to take 5 attacks at her. 19. Natty 20, boys!
Nice.
14. So that's 4. 15. 5. 12. Okay, so I'm assuming
2 of those hits, one of them being that natty 20. Again.
Alright.
Dang.
That natty add my fire into. So.
Okay.
She said she was getting her bad rolls out of the way.
Exactly!
That she did.
Okay, so 29 plus 13. Dun, dun, dun. Let me math. Oh my goodness. So that is 42 damage. 5 of that being fire, and or twice. I don't really want to move her right now, so I'm not gonna. And then my shadow spawn is gonna come up here. Can it flank with Big B's hand?
Big B hand can't flank because it's not a creature.
Okay, cool. So it's just going to take 3 attacks. 16, 17, and 12. Okay.
Okay, so one of those hits.
Very cool. 1d12 plus... Sorry, I'm just looking at this. 1d12 plus 3 plus... Okay, cool. And we'll see if this damages anything. This is cold damage, so 16 cold damage.
Okay. It seems to do a regular amount. Since it's technically the start of your Shadow Spawn's turn, will you make a Charisma saving throw for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, for me or for the Shadow Spawn?
For the Shadow Spawn.
Okay. So, let's... Dirty 20, boys.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. The charm effect seems to have no effect. So that hit does go through and works out there.
Okay, cool beans. And that is my turn.
Okay, Lydia, at the start of your turn, now that I'm remembering my things, will you make a Charisma saving throw for me?
Yes, ma'am. Oop. That's a 20.
Nice. Okay, you're fine, and you are fine. Aw, man. I was hoping to catch at least one of you. Okay, cool.
Okay. Lydia's gonna cast Suggestion on this guy to command him to jump onto this guy.
Okay. Cool. What do I need to roll for that?
Wisdom saving throw, 18 or more.
That's a 21.
Oh, damn.
I
Well,
know.
then it's my turn.
So he looks like he's about to take off, and then just like you see a fear come
Wait.
over his face, and it looks like he gets like the sense that if I jump on this shaman, that's a bad idea, despite what the goblin lady's telling me to do.
DM,
Yes.
DM.
Yes.
I'd like to reach into my pocket and break off a little bit of the essence pearl
Okay.
and make him re-roll that at disadvantage.
Okay. That's a 6. So
Awesome.
it's just any creature you can see that uses your reaction and go ahead and mark off 1 charge of your essence pearl. It does not recharge. And it seems to have taken the command. It's suggestion. It happens on his turn, right?
Let me check.
I'm pretty sure.
I guess so, yeah. Makes sense.
Okay.
I want this to happen. This is great.
Sounds good. Anything else, Lydia?
Nope, that ends her turn.
Okay, Sheila, what are you doing?
Bigby's hand will punch the giant again.
Mhm.
28.
That definitely hits.
Uh, 11 damage.
Okie dokie. As this thing just continues to punch the back of this giant's head.
Then I'll just try and Ray Frost him again.
Okay.
15. I don't do it.
Yeah, 15 doesn't hit. And it's kind of like this conglomeration of the giant swinging its club, and as Bigby punches the back of its head, you just like misjudge a tiny bit and it goes right off its shoulder. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So, this guy is going to... Yeah, I think is going to continue to give chase and kind of come up here to Kieran. Because you've been avoiding him.
Yeah.
And that is a 17.
Misses.
Okay, and then a 18?
Meets it, beats it.
Okay, 31 bludgeoning damage.
Ow! Stop rolling so well.
I did roll pretty well. I rolled a lot of max there. That is its turn. This one is going to skirt around. Bigby doesn't get an attack of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Wait, I already asked that. We already did this. It's gonna skirt around and go right here, and it's gonna take 1 attack at the Shadow Spawn and 1 at Lydia. So that is a 12 to hit the Shadow Spawn.
Nope.
And a 25 to hit Lydia. So, Lydia, that's 23 bludgeoning damage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then is suggestion a concentration?
Let me check.
Will you actually just display the spell for me?
Yes, ma'am. Da, 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 da.
It is
It is indeed a
concentration. Okay, so since this giant hasn't had a chance to do it and you just took damage, I will need you to go ahead and roll me a concentration check.
Okay, so that's what, a wisdom save or
No,
straight
it's a Constitution saving throw. And so you'll have to
Yes,
beat a 12, 11, and 11. You're fine. Cool.
modifier. So yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, that is the end of this thing's turn. It is this guy's turn, and he is going to run as far as he can, and then I'm gonna roll an athletics check to see if he can kind of flying leap here. But he's pretty good at this. Yeah, he does great. And he just body flops on top of this giant. I'm going to do this. Oh no! I was like, I'm gonna roll a strength saving throw to see if they both fall prone. They both fell prone.
Yes!
So this giant just body flops this giant down, and they're both now prone before you. And the one beneath does seem to take a little bit of damage. Lydia, do you want to roll 3d6 for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think it's funny. Okay.
It's a 9.
So they both take 9 damage as this one flings himself at this one, and they are both prone. Cool. And then the suggestion spell fades because it has done your action. Okay. Kieran.
Alrighty.
Oh, wait.
Well,
Actually, it can use its... Oh, no, it used all its movement. Never mind. You're fine. It's good. Go ahead.
Cool. I would have to... I'm in within range, right? I'll move here.
Okay.
Just so I'm just for the sake of my sanity. And I will take an attack towards my very lovely prone guy.
Okay, you get advantage because it is prone.
And I will go for Mr. Easier to hit. So I'll go for this one on top here.
Okay.
But I'll be casting Green Flame Blade with this.
Cool.
Alrighty, so let me make that attack with advantage. I'm assuming a 27 hit.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so that is going to be this amount of damage. And that's going to be the 14 piercing. She's not within 5. Because I'm attacking this guy, so she's not within 5 feet.
Yeah, she's within 5 feet of him.
Okay, then
She's
it'll also
literally
take...
underneath him.
Okay, cool. Then it'll take the extra 10 sneak attack.
Oh, if you're attacking this guy, she's...
Yeah.
Got it. So you don't get sneak attack from her, but Green Flame Blade does attack this one.
Yes. So, let's see if this rolls everything. Alrighty. I don't know why I did this, but it'll... Just roll.
So the 7 Green Flame Blade goes to the first one, and then the 17 hops off of it and goes to the second one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
I got you.
It tried to roll sneak attack as well.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So,
okay,
and
cool.
then that second one. Hold on. Give me a second. My stuff is going nuts. I need to see if that hex damage will also go off at the same time. Oh no, whenever I hit it with an attack.
Isn't Green Flame Blade requires an attack?
Yeah, but I didn't hit it. I hit the one on top and then
got it.
One.
Yeah, so you would get hex damage on the one on top though. So go ahead and roll that d6.
No, because I don't have the hex damage on it, because I have to do a specific target.
You're right. Yep, good job.
Mm-hmm.
I was just testing you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, uh-huh.
I
And
know
then...
how hex works.
Yep, and then I will yell to who is within 60 feet of me. I don't know the new lady, so I will... And my roll20 just blanked out on the map. But is Shelia or Lydia within 60 feet of me? Because I will give them a bardic inspiration with my
No,
bonus
both of them
action.
are further than 70.
Damn. Alright, then I will give our new friend a bardic inspiration.
Okay, cool. What are you saying to inspire her?
I'm just gonna say, let's finish this together, shall we?
She just, like, grins at you, and it's less of a smile and more just like all teeth in the joy of what's happening here. And with that inspiration, she jumps forward and goes for the lady on the ground that you have hexed. Nope. And with the advantage, she does manage to hit both times. Okay. So that's 17 damage, and that's 13 plus 3. Okay. And yeah, nice. Okay. So with that, she manages to, with the encouragement from you, she manages to drive her sword straight through this thing's throat, and it just like a burst of fire comes from it, and you watch like this blue flame come straight from this thing's eyes, and that goblin gets like blown off and blown to bits. And then with that, she takes her sword and continues her swing into this one right next to it as a bonus action. It is still prone. She has advantage. Ooh, that's another crit. Nice job, girl. Okay. Interesting. I don't know why it's rolling this thing. So that is an additional 36 damage total to this. Okay, and that is the end of her turn. And she just kind of says, let's do this at you. Okay, Miriam.
Alrighty, so first off, my Shadow Spawn is going to take 3 attacks.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, 2 of those hit.
Alright, cool. So, let's see. Roll 2d12. 8 last time, plus 16. So, 21 total cold damage.
Nice, nice.
And let me position myself real quick. Yeah. Cool. So Miriam's gonna come over here, and then she's going to attack big dude with 6 Eldritch Blasts.
Alrighty.
1, 2. You're rolling like shit.
Oh no.
3.
Oh no.
4. 5.
Oh,
Hey, we got one.
Alrighty, so it's 20 damage up, and she gets pushed 10 feet back.
Okay. That's hilarious.
not above a 5 for so
I
long.
know! So sorry. Okay, that's your bonus action, your action. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, that's all, baby.
Alrighty, Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia's can't really do anything cool at the moment, so she is just going to use her whip and whip this guy.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Actually, no. She's gonna use inflict wounds on this guy, so she's gonna go melee.
Nice.
Just cast inflict wound.
Hey, roll to hit.
Plop, plop, plop. That's a 18.
An 18 just hits.
Score. So that is 20 damage.
Nice.
Which is necrotic?
Yeah, I think it's necrotic. So as you reach out, you manage to just like get your little goblin hand in between a chink and its stone, and just this burst of green necrotic energy goes through the whole being, and you watch as stone begins to flake off. It's starting to not look so good.
Okay. That's my turn.
Okay,
Gross.
Sheila, this is your first time in my aura. Go ahead and roll me a charisma saving throw.
Okay. A 15.
Okay, you do make it.
Perfect. Okay. We'll keep punching it.
This big B hand really doing the work.
27.
Yep.
19 damage.
Nice.
And then I'll go run up and give it a booming blade attack.
Cool.
26.
26 does hit.
Okay, it takes 13 bludgeoning. And 13 thunder.
Alrighty. What does it look like when you kill this thing?
Oh, I guess Sheila will stab her staff through a chink and explode it with thunder damage. Let it blow up like a good stone.
I love that. And just like the stone on the outside begins to rumble, and then it just bursts out in this cacophony of noise that kind of echoes throughout the whole of the valley as this thing slumps to the ground, kind of exploded from the inside. Beautiful. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All of my dream walkers are dead. It's just this belly flop guy. And he is going to attack the thing that just did a whole bunch of damage. Yeah, he's gonna try to pick her up. So it's a dexterity saving throw from her. Oh, she doesn't make it. So he picks her up and she gets thrown all the way here.
Ow.
Yeah, I was right. Okay, and that is 66 of damage.
I'm in danger.
Oh, I rolled horribly. Oh well, okay. That's fine. It was funny. So she only takes like 12, or she doesn't take much damage at all from that, actually. She takes half of that, and so she like kind of catches herself. You guys watch and just like smiles and looks like she's about ready to take off. And that's the end of his turn. Okay, Kieran.
Alright. Let's go. Well, bonus action, move the hex to him.
Okay.
That's a fun thing I can do. And then we're going to take an attack at him.
Okay.
21.
Does hit.
11 piercing, plus that level extra 6. So 14, and then we'll go again.
Ooh.
13.
Yeah, so, oh, he did stand up, by the way. Which makes sense,
Okay.
because you weren't rolling at advantage.
Yes.
He had to stand up in order to be able to throw. I think it would have been weird to try to throw somebody from lying down. So as your first attack swings and kind of like dives into his shin, and it looks like it's starting to kind of cut some of the tendons there, he reels back and just kind of stumbles a little bit, and so you miss the spot in the hip that you were aiming at.
Mm-hmm. Alright, with that first one, would it be possible for me to have expended a bardic die for a defensive flourish?
Sure, I'll allow you to do that.
Cool, so it'll take an extra d6. And until... only one, damn. Alright, that's sad. Very sad. But then, until the end of... Until the start of my next turn, my AC will be increased by the 1.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty.
That is all.
Oh, that sucks. Her speed is just not enough. She's mad about it.
Has she got hand axes?
She does, but she's still mad about it. So just like this burst of angry energy comes off of her, and she just takes off running and doesn't quite get there, but she pulls 2 hand axes from her belt and flings them. And actually, what she's gonna do is she pulls like a you know what? This is even funnier. So as she runs forward, she just like holds out her hands, and a whole burst of fire energy comes from her as she casts Burning Hands. And falls out of her rage. But that's okay. So... he didn't succeed. Okay, so he takes 16 fire damage, and she kind of like almost runs into it as the energy leaves her and gets a little bit closer there, and that is the end of her turn. Okay, Miriam, what are you doing?
So anyways, I started blasting.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, 4 of those hit.
Alrighty. Roll. 4, 10, 5. 5 of it's fire. 4. Oof. I rolled pretty well there. 53 damage, and I'm just gonna keep... I won't put him right now.
Well, it doesn't really matter too much, because how do you want to kill her?
Just... So, as 4 phoenixes just shoot from Miriam's fingers and actually find purchase. One goes through one eye, the other through the other, one through the mouth, and then one through where the nose would have been 2 seconds ago. And it just carves through the head.
Oh, beautiful. And as the stone giant goes rumbling to the ground, and just like lands with a crash, and then there's just like a beat, a moment, and the air is still around you as it seems that all of the enemies have been vanquished. And since it's a little late, I think that that's where we're going to end the session, and then you can, when we come back in, we will interact and see who this character is and what they're doing, and continue on where Astra is leading you. So for all those listening in, thank you so much for hanging out. We're going to chat a little bit longer on Twitch and probably right off, but if you're on YouTube and you enjoyed this, leave a like, come pop in for the next session. I hope you guys had a good time, and we'll see where the next session brings us here. All right.
Do it. I dare you.
Bye.